This is We All Be, news-free Dixie for the 21st century. See how it works? Somewhere. Can you dig it?
And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you drive all over the country to chase us down. Chase us down. Okay? We move so fast. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're a family. I don't know if you're a wife. Okay? But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, well, you know, that's, I owe that to you. It's an obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. Mm-hmm. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you to feed them. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. Huh? You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014, and so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.
Dun, 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 she's not like us. Dun, 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 she's not like us. Dun, 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 she's not like us. She's not like us. She's not like us. What's up, brother? We All Be news, radio, and TV. News free Dixie for the 21st century. I hope you can hear me loud, black and loud and proud. This is Brother Ron on the melanin side of the game. And the games they play. Let's get ready. Are y'all ready? Yay. Thank you all for holding it down. I wanted to come to y'all earlier than this, around noon, because like Baba Dick Gregory would say, pray for the truth to come out at noon. The truth comes out at noon. The truth comes out at noon. The truth comes out at noon. I'm in a good mood. Yeah. It's 2024, baby. Better wake up, 2024. Make all your dreams and nightmares come true. Ain't no year like this, an epic year. They can't write this and make this up in Hollywood. This is like, it's like a Scandal. This is like Veep. I remember that show on HBO called Veep with Julia Louis Dreyfus used to be on Seinfeld. Well, there's a bagel. Is a bagel an unsweetened donut? I don't know. Is a bagel antisocial because it's not sweet like a donut? I don't know. You know, Seinfeld, right? But she did a show on HBO for several years, several seasons called Veep, VEEP. And art imitates life, life imitates art. The world's a stage. And I think that show probably was based off of the vice presidency, of Kamala Harris in the future. So I do believe in time travel. I believe they prepared us for this Kamala Harris ascension on that show Veep. Because there's a thing called predictive programming. I know y'all hooked up to that. Y'all talking about the Simpsons predicted all these things going on. Like that cartoon on Comedy Central several years ago predicted the demise of Kobe Bryant, basketball superstar. In the cartoon, they show him getting blown up in a helicopter crash. And what happened in January 2020? He dies along with 8 other people in a helicopter crash. So what's going on? Predictive programming, like the guy who created Family Guy and all that stuff, right? He supposed to have been on a plane heading to L.A. on September 11th, 2001. But he said he overslept and missed his plane. I guess he was on that flight from Boston to L.A. And he said he overslept. And next thing you know, he blew up, right? What is that? Seth MacFarlane or something like that? The guy who created Family Guy and all these other things. That teddy bear movie, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I'm trying to get y'all to understanding or overstanding what's going on. It's like you had that so-called lone gunman attempt on President Donald Trump, Agent Orange. I call him Agent Orange. They had that attempt on him 2 weekends ago, right? Now it's 2 weekends past, right? And what people don't understand, you got to understand, there's no such thing as a lone gunman in American history. There's never a lone gunman. Somebody sent that boy, a group of people sent that boy to pull that trigger. And come to find out, because of you great people out there, the reason why they're censoring us so heavily by being truth seekers and tellers, y'all discovered that this dude appeared in a BlackRock commercial. What's it back? I don't know, it was 2020 or something like that. It was like, he appeared in a BlackRock commercial. He was in a school setting. BlackRock, I think it's like they do investments, whatever, part of international finance, banking, all that stuff, what they do. All right. I think BlackRock is the new Goldman Sachs as far as it comes to American politics, but they got their tentacles in a lot of areas. They got a lot of people they puppet mastering over. They got a lot of puppets in the political arena. So get hip to BlackRock. But they had a commercial with the alleged shooter, Matthew Thomas Crooks, in a classroom setting. And you know what's interesting, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was just 24 when they framed him for the assassination of President Kennedy, when they would not allow him to have his day in court. He was silenced at the police station. That's kind of weird. How was they able to have security so lax? There's somebody like Jack Ruby, a well-known underworld figure in Dallas, had access to get Oswald. And then they got rid of Jack Ruby. And then I think about, shout out to Candace Owens. I think that she's very popular or very polarizing for people. But I was thinking about Candace Owens. One thing she does, she puts stuff out there and she expects pushback, but it gets people to think. It's like the Black Panther Party said back in the day, you got to heighten the contradictions. You got to create cognitive dissonance. So I said dissonance, all right? Dissonance, to get people to get shocked and get people to start back thinking again. You got to jumpstart critical thinking in 2024. There's no good to have access to all this information if you don't know how to critically think, analyze, put things in certain context, learn how to control and reclaim your narrative. It does no good to have all this influx of info. And I say knowledge is the currency of the universe. But with that said, they use TV shows and movies to get us prepared for the future. It's like I talked about Lee Harvey Oswald, where he appeared on TV in New Orleans back in the day. I believe it was New Orleans. We doing that Fair Play for Cuba committee thing down there. the little government intelligence operation, Fair Play for Cuba down in New Orleans. This is right before he was made a patsy by the American government, icKKK government. Like in the words of Dr. King, to paraphrase MLK, he said, the greatest purveyor of violence on the planet is my own government. That's MLK. And then you got to remember too, the media establishment, traditional media, they did a hit job on MLK. By the time he died in 1968, MLK was one of the most hated people on the planet. Think about what I'm saying. The media, they helped his image earlier in his career, because MLK was just on the scene for 13 years, right? Just 13 years, right? You think he was on the scene longer. Just 39 years old when they took his life. You think he'll be older. But the last couple of years of his life, he was not a media darling. It's like he won the Nobel Peace Prize. That was like his high moment, you know, March on Washington speech in 63, 64, the Nobel Peace Prize. And then when he started coming out against the Vietnam War, when he started getting himself in a position to affect public policy by affecting public perception, he had to go. You know, Washington Post, a lot of these papers, New York Times, they demonized Dr. King at the end. Kind of remind me of Agent Orange, you know, because like he was a media darling like Dr. King, and then he got persecuted by the media towards the end, like Dr. King was getting persecuted. And now, look, how they write history, you know, they got a big $100 million plus statue in D.C., the Chinese MLK on the nation's lawn. LAWN got an MLK Chinese MLK made by a Chinese national sculptor. And this is what I want to talk about today a little bit, but I guess I'm running about to say there's no such thing as a lone gunman in American history. American history is a gangster rap album. Lee Harvey Oswald with Donald Trump, you know, the debate back in 2016, you know, he was debating, you know, they're trying to figure out who could be the Republican nominee for the presidency back in 2016. He had a debate with Ted Cruz. And Donald Trump, y'all want to say, oh, he lies all the time. I'd rather say what Dave Chappelle said about Donald Trump. He's an honest liar, because all politicians lie. Get over yourself. There's no such thing as no honest politician. I'm sure Jimmy Carter, you know, Christian, one of my favorite presidents, really underrated. He's not really appreciated what Jimmy Carter tried to do to the White House and geopolitical politics, but I'm sure he lied too, being a Christian. I'm sure he asked for forgiveness and he lied, because he said in that Playboy interview back in the day, I have lust in my heart. I lust in my heart. It's lusty and busted. Okay, getting back to the subject at hand. Reason why I brought up the lone gunman thing is because a TV show that came out years ago, back in 2001. It was called The Lone Gunmen, not gunman, men as in plural. It was a spinoff of the X-Files. It was about this a team of investigative nerds. They investigated, you know, they investigate all types of interesting phenomenon. But it was a spinoff from the X-Files series. It was very popular back in the 90s and the 2000s, whatever. And so their first episode, which is always known as the pilot episode, the first episode of that show, it talked about people within the U.S. government hijacking the computers of these, airliners, these planes. They hacked into the computer mainframe of the planes, and they directed them to fly into the World Trade Center. So it was a government, it was a coup d'etat. They took control of the planes and they used them as a missile for the World Trade Center. This is a TV show that came out. That show came out March of 2001. What happened in September 11, 2001? We ain't gonna never forget. That's our Pearl Harbor. I ain't gonna never forget, you know, where I was, what I was doing, who told me. That's embedded in my brain, like how people can recall Pearl Harbor. It's like, you know, think about George H.W. Bush, right? He was like the youngest pilot in World War II for American side. He got shot down, I think, in the Pacific. Luckily, he survived. I guess luckily for him, but was it luckily for us? That's another story. But he could recall where he was at when Pearl Harbor went down, December 7th, 1941, but he could not recall where he was at when, you know, November 22nd, 1963. That's the same. That's the date that will live on in infamy as well. That's the assassination of JFK. But he could never recall where he was at that day, November 22nd, 1963. But he could recall where he was at when he heard the news about Pearl Harbor, which happened December 7th, 1941. So I say all this, I mean, bring out, run, you throw all this jibber jabber out there, jibber jabber, jammy jam. Just throw stuff to the wall, see if it sticks, see if you're listening. And this is the thing. They be playing us for some chumps, okay? Whether you like Trump, whether you like Kamala or Biden, who cares? Really, at the end of the day, they're playing us. And we got to wake up by any means necessary. You know, Malcolm X's birthday is coming up. The 100th anniversary of his birth is coming up May 19th, 2025. Malcolm dedicated the last several years, maybe the last 2 or 3 years of his life, trying to help educate, but he had to edutain y'all because Black folks, we want to be entertained. If we try to receive something life-saving, but you deliver it in a poor, or not poor, but in a dull fashion, then Black folks ain't gonna receive it. We always gotta be entertaining something. We always gotta be acting, performing. We're performing people. We like to perform, right? So Malcolm had a gift of communicating. He understood his people, so he put it out there. But you know, I ask people sometimes, so what's your favorite Malcolm X speech? And folks, they'll tell me all the, you know, they'll talk about chicken coming home to roost, and they'll talk about by any means necessary, ballot or the bullet. But did you ever listen to Malcolm X's speeches? You ever listen to the ballot or the bullet, message to the grassroots, prospects for freedom? Just naming these are Malcolm X speeches. And he talked about Black folks being careful about embracing white liberalism, white liberals, embracing the Democratic Party. He took the time to talk about that. You can go back in 1964, you know, the Democrats had their convention in Atlantic City. This is the same summer as Freedom Summer, where them 3 civil rights workers went missing. Mickey Swerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney. 3 civil rights workers, 2 white Jewish guys from New York City, 1 Black man from Mississippi. They went missing on Father's Day of 1964. Their bodies were discovered in the earthen dam August the 4th, 1964. Barack Obama was born August 4th, 1960 or 61. Y'all know when Barack was born, like 1960 or 61, something like that. But what I'm saying is, that's interesting. Like he about 3 years old, whatever. Let me make sure. Because now I'm trying to figure out what year Barack Obama was born. I know if I say something wrong, I know how they do Black people on this. Man, Brother Ron lied. He didn't know when Obama was born. He was like a year or 2 off. I know how y'all be doing, Black folk, to try to help Black people, our own people. And he was born August 4th, 1961. Okay, so Barack will be 63 next month. So what I'm saying is, you had y'all like Democratic plantation, y'all still stuck on the plantation, right? Which is interesting because Black folks, for the most part, were Republicans for a long time. That was the party of Lincoln, right? Or Frederick Douglass, radical Republicans. Reconstruction was the Republican Party that came up with the idea of Reconstruction, right? 10 years of Black excellence on steroids with Reconstruction era. And we still don't understand what was lost with the ending of the Reconstruction era, because the Republicans wanted to maintain control of the White House. So I think it was Hayes Tilden. Tilden was the Democratic nominee, and Rutherford B. Hayes was the Republican nominee. And they had a really, really close election. And they was trying to figure out, and they made a deal. Like the Republicans said, look, Democrats said, look, if y'all want to keep or retain the White House, withdraw the troops from the South to end Reconstruction. So the Republican Party did that. And the Republican Party owed Black people an apology. The Democrats never going to probably apologize to Black people because they are the party of the Ku Klux Klan. Nathan Bedford Forrest's birthday, the first Grand Wizard of the Klan, was July 13th. And you notice it was a march on Nashville. These white, whatever y'all, I guess they white nationalists, these guys in ski masks, like they white poo shiesties with Confederate flags and United States flags. And y'all was scared. Y'all was in the Waffle House looking out the window. Who's that peeping out the window? Pal, nobody now. Y'all said, what's going on? Like, why they walk their ski mask on in the middle of the day? Why they waving Confederate flags and U.S. flags? Because this is where we at. See, what y'all don't understand, white supremacy is a religion, or white inferiority is a religion. July 13th, the same day that they try to, that Donald Duck, the same day that Donald Duck to keep from getting assassinated, is also the birthday of Nathan Bedford Forrest, the first Grand Wizard of the Klan, Confederate general, slave owner, trader, father of private prisons. That was his day, July 13th. He's an honored son of Tennessee. They used to have his bust of his likeness in the state capitol in Tennessee. They took down the statue in Memphis, but they got a 2,500-acre state park named for him in the state of Tennessee. He got a city that he founded in Arkansas named for him, Forest City. That's the birthplace of one and only Right Reverend A.L.L Green. Hey, love in Jesus Christ. And also, that's where they kept T.I. the rapper. He was doing his gun charges for the feds. He was over there. They got a federal penitentiary, whatever, over there in Forest City, Arkansas. So, like even like you look at April. April is a big month for white supremacy as well. Because, Adolf Hitler was born April 20th, 420, right? April 20th. Let me see I got that right, because I be thinking, Ron, he got it wrong. He leading us down the rabbit hole. He making us drink that woke Kool-Aid, man. Adolf, April 20th, that's his birthday. So 420, that's the day of 420. Well, it was Adolf Hitler's birthday. You look at some of these white people, white nationalists. I remember I was in Kroger's late one night, and I was trying to get through this alleyway. It was two white dudes talking. They was blocking. And I said, well, excuse me. Can I, I need to get through. Excuse me. I was polite and diplomatic. And so they let me in. But when I noticed when one of the guys' arm was the number 88, he had an 88 tattooed on his arm. And if you know anything about those type of people, what's the H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, So, they got Hail Hitler. Hail H, they start with an H, and Hitler start with an H. So they let you know Hail Hitler. That's they salute. So I saw that, and I knew I'm in Memphis, man, but still, I'm in a majority city that's black, but we have no knowledge of self. Because like white folks for over 100 years will celebrate the birthday of Nathan Bedford Forrest the Sunday before his birthday. So for over 100 years, white folks by the hundreds and thousands would come to Union Avenue in the blackest city in America to honor their number one cracker in chief, Nathan Bedford Forrest. Okay? So this is the real deal. So I remember I covered the last 3 birthday ceremonies of Nathan Bedford Forrest before they removed the statue back in December of 2017. And also that's where his wife and himself was buried on one of our busiest streets in downtown Memphis. And I used to just go there a lot of times by myself or with like 2 or 3 people. My mom would make sure she pray over me, put prayer oil, I call it chicken grease, on me to cover me in the blood of Jesus. So I went down there, a lone person by myself, a black man, just observing, not obstructing, but observing and listening to these people in their Confederate garb and horses and Confederate flags, and they had watermelon and their water, and I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray! I wish I was in Dixie. Yeah. So y'all think it's a Trump thing or Trump? It's America. America. This is America. America, when it first began, it was Project 2025. When America first began, it was Project 2025. Okay? And I'm going to touch on it, but I know I'm getting what are you talking about? What's your point? My point is that I'm in a city full of black people, and we do some crazy things against each other. But when it comes to recognize the real enemy in our midst, see, they hide in public. Because these people that will gather at Nathan Bedford Forrest's resting spot, there was no hillbilly, white, trailer park, trash people. These were professional people, people in law enforcement, in medicine, in law, entrepreneurs, successful people that will honor this white man, one of their white heroes and saviors for over 100 years in a black city, and black folks didn't know who the hell was buried there all that time. A lot of us didn't know. I remember when I used to be down there covering it, black folks would be just happening by, because normally it'd be black folks all crowded on downtown, because that's Southwest College, community college right across the street from Forest Park, which is now Health Sciences Park. So it'll be black folks down there all day, every day, except on the days when the white folks show up in droves to that part of Memphis to honor their hero. And when black folks would happen upon the celebration, they will get upset. They want to fight. I said, wait a minute. I know this is our city, but this is like they outnumber us. They got guns and all this stuff. It ain't about being afraid. It's about being aware. They've been doing this for over 100 years, and you live in this city all your life. You didn't know that? I remember, and I'm gonna get to the main course of the meal, right? But I remember when Reverend Wright, Jeremiah Wright, Reverend Goddamn America, that dude, Obama's preacher from Chicago, that Thailand town. He came to speak at the University of Memphis. I ain't gonna never forget this. April 3rd, 2009, the day before the anniversary of Dr. King's assassination by the U.S. government. That's not no conspiracy, that's reality. That the government killed Dr. King. The gun that killed him came from the FBI. This is not no conjecture or no, this is reality. This happened. You know, they went to civil court and they proved that the government was complicit and responsible, because if white folks don't believe that OJ can win his murder trial but yet be guilty through the civil trial, well, the United States United Snakes are guilty of killing Dr. King. And Dr. King said, the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today is my own government. And it still holds true to this day, if you think about it. But yeah, but Reverend Wright spoke, right? And we had to go to metal detectors because the hate is real. Y'all think it started with Trump. America always been like this. They not like us, but they are us. This is us. They not like us, but this is us. When I talk about Nathan Memphis, all them professional people, I knew some of the people. One of the person was a spokesperson for not only their group that supported the Nathan Memphis birthday party, but he was a spokesperson for the Shelby County Sheriff's Department in law enforcement. They don't wear them robes no more. They wear suits, they wear uniforms, they don't wear the robes. They out in the military. They always been there. But now's the time, right, to come out. Everything's coming transparent, right? I lost my train of thought on it. I just talked about my forest. It got all animated. I talked about, oh yeah, Reverend Isaac Richmond. He was there. He's a local community activist. He ran for Congress several times. He's a very unique Memphian figure. He's to me, he's like iconoclastic. Our people really don't support him like we should. He's kind of marginalized, but he stayed true to the cause. He's one of them people that's a true soldier for the people. So he was passing out flyers saying we're gonna have a protest of Nathan Bedford legacy. They're gonna protest the statue being in Memphis, in a black city, and his legacy. So he passed out a flyer. I got the flyer. He invited the media to attend his protest rally the next day, Saturday, April 4th, 2009 in Forest, what used to be known as Forest Park, right? So I went down there. No other media showed up, but We All Be Media, and I recorded them and interviewed the people. Dr. Isaac Richmond got their point of view. Now, this is April 4th, 2009. And I remember, I think one of my judges, the Honorable late great Judge D. Army Bailey, I believe he was he brought Reverend Al Sharpton, what y'all know as Al Charlton, to Memphis to protest the statue. I think they did that back in 2004. What I'm trying to say is, like, people want to give credit to the people that came later on. I'm not taking nothing away from the people that came, the Black Lives Matter people and all that. You know who they are. They know when they get in front of the cameras and all that. But it was a process of people getting to a point where that statue was being able to be removed from Memphis. And it's, like I said, with Isaac Richmond, he was really ahead of the curve. Him with his faithful people, they call themselves CORE. Like, I guess it was spelled differently from CORE, the National CORE Civil Rights Group, which was CORE. They spelled theirs different. I think they spelled it like CORR or something like that. But anyway, I think that's right. I got the footage. But, you know, he was out there in the sun with his people. It's like that thing that if you're not around when a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? And because I was around and I documented what they were doing, it lasted beyond April 4th, 2009. So it's been circulating for years out there, and you manifest what you want by focusing on what you want, and you make it real. Well, you can speak stuff into existence. You can manifest things into existence. A lot of us don't believe that because we told we're powerless, that we have no value, that we have no connection to divinity, but we are the most divine people. We are the most connected people, but we got to get our mind right because the head been connected. The head been disconnected from the body for a long, long time. So now it's time for us to come together like Voltron. Y'all know Voltron, my 80s baby. You know Voltron, they all come together. Okay, it's time for not all of us, but the chosen ones need to come together. Amen. The chosen ones. And so here I am. They've been trying to quiet me down on these social media streets. They've been trying to malign me. I mean, they don't want me to have. I like listening to Ken Owens. Why can't I have 2 million subscribers on YouTube? Watch y'all blocking me and demonetizing me and removing videos that have been up for 15 years. Why can't I have it like that? What's wrong with me? I'm not good enough to have those type of numbers like Joe Rogan and all these people. Why can't we all shine, B? Why can't we all shine, man? Okay, but that ain't the problem. The problem is, you got to be sacrificed. You got to pay a price for wanting to tell the truth and to share that truth and to speak truth to power. It's like I remember when I interviewed Dick Gregory, right? My biggest Dick Gregory video. It got over 1 million views on YouTube. YouTube demonetized that. I'm not making any money off that, but other people, they could take it and reshape it, and they made money off it. They paid rent with that. But you know, I waited for almost like 12, 13 hours in a hotel lobby in New York City for that interview. So Dick told me, like, man, meet me at the hotel, man. I just be gone for a couple hours out the city. Like a couple hours turned to 12 hours. And I was waiting in the hotel lobby. He showed up around midnight. I had my head down. Hey, Brother Ron. And then he'll tell me how he met this shaman outside of New York City that gave him some insight. This is back in 2016. It's October 2016. It's a couple days after his birthday, his last birthday. I actually went there at the last minute for his last birthday. I was actually in Baltimore area, in Hanover. And my sister, who lives in Maryland, told me, Dick got a birthday thing at Caroline's. You should go. And I wasn't even trying to go to see Dick Gregory. It's just like I happened to be in Maryland. They had the mega bus available in Baltimore. So at the last minute, I went on the mega bus from Baltimore to New York City. And I went to Caroline's with my suitcase in hand. And I met Dick Gregory with his family. George Wallace, the great comedian, was there. We had a good time. I didn't know it was going to be the last time that he'll get a chance to celebrate his birthday. But he stayed in the city for a couple of days after that. So I waited for like 12 hours for him to come back. And then we had a late dinner. We got some food from the bodega. And I slept, in his hotel room. I slept on the couch. He had, Dick Gregory's entry. He had all his stuff laid out. He was like a mad scientist. And he just had newspaper articles, everything everywhere. But anyway, I found a space on the couch. He slept in his bed. I didn't even know Dick Gregory actually sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because he'd be up. He got so much energy. Well, the next morning, he got out of bed and he spoke to me for a couple hours off the top of his head as usual. And he talked about the 2 Trumps. There will be no election in 2016. He said there'll be no election. And so, well, it was an election. And I remember we talked on election night, or I think it was election night or the next day. And I remember what Dick said, because Dick said a lot of stuff. I mean, he's of a different generation. He's civil rights generation, all that. They had a different view on things. And my thing is, I'm of my generation. I have a different view. And I'm tired of trying to do the same stuff that the elders, no disrespect to the people that came before, but that's not gonna get it done for us. All that symbolism and we call it respectability politics. Throw that out the window because they not like us. They not like us. They not like us, and they don't like us, and they don't like us, and they don't like us. You better love yourself more than they hate you. You better love yourself more than they hate you. You better love yourself more than they hate you. So what I'm saying is, he said there will be no election. Trump will be the last president. Y'all say, oh, the election happened. Dick Gregory is a fraud. He's a charlatan. 2020 happened. I don't care what nobody said. Joe Biden never got more votes than anybody in U.S. presidential history. It's not possible. Donald Trump was a rock star during the pandemic. People come by the tens and thousands to see Trump speak. Joe Biden couldn't get people to come to the drive-thru if he was giving out Popeye's chicken. He couldn't get enough people to come. He was like he said, he in the basement. He trying to, and Trump is just Trump. Trump is like, he's old. I said he got more energy than some people I know in their 30s and 40s. I know people in their 30s and 40s are lethargic, and Trump could go all night. Trump be out there speaking off the top of his dome, be campaigning here and there. He's like what Harry Truman was back in the day. Give him hell, Harry, doing whistle stops. Joe Biden could barely get out of bed before it's noon, it seems like. And then he go to sleep at 4 p.m. I'm just joking. These are jokes, folks. I don't think he know that he actually suspended or ended his campaign for president. I think Dr. Jill Biden told him today. I'm thinking. I didn't think I don't believe he ever write any of his stuff on social media either. I could believe Donald Trump write his stuff. Donald Trump is not Donald Trump is interesting. Donald Trump, I ain't gonna get to all that, but what I'm getting back with Dick Gregory, people I like what he said wasn't true. He said Donald Trump will be the last president, 45. 4 plus 5 is what? It's 9. What is 9 in numerology? 9 is the number of completion, of beginnings and endings, the number 9. Number 7 is divinity. But number 9 is the number of beginnings and endings, cycles. So Trump, if you think about 2020, which was contested, a lot of Americans, millions of Americans believe that it was stolen from Donald Trump. And you look at what's going on now. Donald Trump probably was the last president elected by the American people. Because if you think about it, Donald Trump, he got the electoral college in votes, but he didn't get the popular vote. Hillary actually got more votes than Donald Trump. But yet Trump won because I believe Hillary and them took Trump for granted. They didn't see him being able to achieve that. I don't think Donald Trump thought he would achieve that. That's why he, presented himself the way he presented himself. He just give him hell. He was just speaking his mind, being very entertaining, and he was a media darling. People loved Donald Trump 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Then y'all hate Trump? It's like with King. People loved Dr. King back in 64. But when 1967 came around, he wasn't loved. I mean, they threw a brick at his head up in Chicago, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Somewhere in Illinois, they threw a brick at his head, hit him in the head. Dr. King was not universally loved by these powers that be. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm on this thing, because people are talking. You got a lot of people talking on social media, but what are they really talking about? They're not saying too much of anything, but it's entertaining to y'all. And I'm trying to learn how to be more entertaining to get this information out to you all. But the thing, I don't know if it's doing any good. But Trump didn't think he was going to win in 2016. I think he just did. And I'll tell people this too, why it's on my head. Movies, because Hollywood is about predictive programming. Look at The Simpsons and how it predicts the future. I talked about the Lone Gunman TV show. Y'all should check out the first episode. I think it's still on YouTube. But some movies you should look at. I mentioned Veep, right? I think Veep was getting us prepared for a possible presidency of a woman, of a quirky woman, the quirky woman by the name of Kamala Harris, the giggler, like the laugh and most inconvenient moments. But 2 movies I would suggest y'all look at. Wag the Dog. Look at Wag the Dog with Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. That's a good movie. It talks about Robert De Niro being a handler of the president The president was going through a sex crisis. This came out, or sex scandal. This came out the same time that the Lewinsky thing was going on for President Bill Clinton. Yeah, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Indeed, I did. Yes, I had sexual relations with that woman. It was pretty good. Anyway, that movie came out around that time, late 90s, I believe. It talks about how the White House hires a top-tier Hollywood producer to create a fake war to get the people attention off the troubles of the president. And y'all should look at that. Another movie is Bulworth. Bulworth. It stars Warren Beatty and Halle Berry, Don Cheadle, and some other people. That song Ghetto Superstar with Pras from Fugees and Maya. Ghetto Super. Oh, dirty me, oh, dirty bastard. Look at that movie, Bulworth. Because it reminds me of Donald Trump. I mean, he almost got assassinated. He's just speaking truth to power. He's doing that. He's tapping into that old school populism. He's like a populist for the millennium, for the new generation, whatever. He's a populist. He reminds me of a couple of people. But anyway, Bulworth is a good movie to look at. Wag the Dog, those two. And also another movie, if I can think of it, I think it's called Executive Action. Let me see. I'm going to look that up. That's Burt Lancaster, Executive Action, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look it up. I don't want y'all to say Ron is a disinfo agent, because I got one thing wrong. I can get a date off, a title wrong. Y'all say, Ronald, Brother Ron is an agent. Brother Ron's an agent. Yeah, Executive Action. These are 3 movies you should check out. Executive Action, Bulworth, and Wag the Dog. And you don't have to thank me at all, but because they'll tell you what's happening. See, the reason why a lot of folks believe that Donald Trump staged what happened in Pennsylvania, because we are so desensitized by our media. The media has desensitized us to having empathy. The media is creating generations of narcissists. The media is the reason why you hate a man you don't even know. Most of us never met Donald Trump. We don't know his family like that. And yet the folks that was his colleagues and peers, they the main ones bitter or talking crazy, like Robert De Niro. Y'all used to love this guy. New York. Y'all used to say Donald Trump was a Democrat. Yeah, y'all didn't know that Donald Trump was a Democrat. And they said he was cousins to Hillary Clinton. Because you be the president, you got to be related. It's a club. It's about bloodlines matter. Bloodlines matter. Barack Obama even related to Brad Pitt and Dick Cheney and Warren Buffett on top of that. Bloodlines matter. So everybody can't be president. That's the whole point. And Donald Trump is in the club, but he's not. He's like, they got to accept him, but they don't like him. Because he's telling you everything that's going on. He's like TMZ for the club. He's letting you know what's going on behind closed door, right? He's leaking all the info. But anyway. Oh, boy. But let's talk about Joe Biden. Let's talk about this Joe Biden situation and the Kamala Harris thing. Joe Biden, as we found out, stepped down. He's not going to seek a re-election, a bid for president of the United States, which is a shock. It has sent shockwaves throughout America. Because, he has some supporters that want him to stick it out. Hang in there, Joe. Keep on swinging, Joe. Joe don't know what year it is. Joe don't know he's still president. Joe don't even know that his son is dead. Both. I think the way they portray him. But even when the party start coming out against him, his own people, because in America, we eat our own. We eat our people. We cannibalize everything. We eat people. We consume them. We consume hope and dreams and all that stuff. It's American way. It's the American way. So when Joe Biden had his own leadership in his party come against him, leaking out info, doing Zoom calls, Facebook Lives, whatever, X, Instagram, and everybody know, hey, we don't like him. We don't want him. We don't need him. Joe, you're too old to learn how the game go. How do you want it? They treated Joe like people treating Bob Dole back in 96. I'm Bob Dole. I'm not going to take it anymore. Yeah, you got to take it outside, Bob. We don't want you. But he ended up getting a nominee. He was a nominee for the Republican Party, and Clinton beat him in a landslide. But the point is, forget about Joe. And they just, I mean, they totally, and I'm not, I don't hate Joe Biden. I just think it's weird that people can't overstand how much damage he did by being 50 years deep in federal government policy. Joe Biden has done damage. Whatever you think about Donald Trump, y'all want to talk about housing discrimination. Joe Biden made sure that black folks had government housing for generations with the crime bills. He made sure I gave you Negroes free housing, 3 hots and a cot. And this is how you pay me. He talked to y'all like Denzel was talking to those people up in the jungle in Training Day. 23-hour lockdown, shoot program, Pelican Bay. And how Joe Biden be talking to black people. Like he had that Zoom call and he got elected. This Candyland, nigga. Candyland. He Candyland. Eat candy. That's like candy. But when you diabetic though, that's death. But like he told them black, so-called black leaders, I ain't doing nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. Come on, man. I can't do nothing for you, man. He told them, it's a Zoom call. Y'all it's out in the internet. You don't have to like me or believe me. It's already out there. I'm just the messenger. Trying to give y'all a message. And y'all want to say return to sender. Okay. But he told the so-called black leaders, this is when I say black, I'm talking about, I think Mark Morial from the Urban League, National Urban League, Derek Johnson from the National NAACP. I think Al Sharpton was on call. Any black leader you think is a so-called black leader, really black puppets, all right? I met Derek Johnson several times. I met Mark Morial a couple of times. They cool. See, this thing is not a personal thing. I don't have any animosity towards these people, but I do reserve the right to use my freedom of speech to criticize, to bring attention to when the BS ain't smelling right. It's not smelling like it should. You know what I'm saying? So he told him, I ain't gonna do nothing for you. Remember when Trump had the platinum plan? Like he wanted to initiate the platinum plan for Black America, something for black people. And Ice Cube had this thing planned for a contract with America or something like that. And y'all was like ridiculing Ice Cube. They use black women. They weaponize black women against black men in politics. And we could talk about that. There's a lot unpacking that, but I'm trying to keep it short. There's a lot to talk about, but if y'all want to hear me, support what we do. You can cash out your support, share this video, subscribe to our Rumble TV channel or rumble.com/WeAllBeTV. I got a second backup YouTube channel. If you look at this on We All Be TV on YouTube, I'm going to remove this video because they've been in the habit of removing and censoring my videos and blocking my ability to sometimes live stream. They've been doing this for the last 6-7 years. But I can't get $100,000 subscribers. Like, why can't I get them? Everybody else getting subscribers. Why can't I get? I'm just gonna be honest. Like, it's weird. What is it about me? I hear other people talk about the same stuff that I talk about on my platform. They get subscribers. They able to sell stuff. I mean, it's crazy. But you know, I love my people. The ancestors got me. You see all my wall. This is my artwork. Burt Williams, Mike Brown, Louis Armstrong, Jack Johnson. They got me because I'm a fighter. I'm gonna fight. You ain't gonna shut me down that easily. And even when I die, you ain't gonna be able to silence me. That's how I do. It's like a Tupac thing. You're not gonna kill me. You think you're gonna kill me, but you're not gonna get rid of my spirit. You're not gonna get rid of these words that coming out of my mouth. Somebody's gonna pick up the baton and run with it. And that's the whole point why I do what I do. Because we all be in it to win it. But with that said, Joe Biden gives us nothing as black people. With Kamala Harris, if you want to say, let's talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is more South Asian than white. She's an Aryan and she's South Asian. More than she's so-called black. It said, well, no, she's the first black president. Black to who? She wasn't raised black. She's not black enough. And I'm tired of black people. We got to stop. Look, what they did in 2008 and 2016, the Democratic Party, what they did in 2008 and 2012, ain't going to work in 2024. You already gave us this Trojan horse named Barack Hussein Obama. You already fooled us twice. You fool us a third time, it's our fault. It ain't y'all fault, it's our fault. And this is the thing, black people, we let everybody be black. Eminem black, Kamala Harris black. They all black and they black. They not black. They not black. Where is the black president whose folks went through slavery, through lynching, through Jim Crow, race massacre, poll taxing, redlining? These are not black people. These are mulattoes, mixed race people who are buffers for the gatekeepers, or buffers for you can't serve both, you can't serve two masters. Kamala told us she's not for black reparations. Y'all can look this up. Take a look. It's all online. She told you, I ain't giving y'all nothing. The Asians get something. They got an anti-hate bill, anti-Asian hate bill. They got something. Who else got something? Israel. They got something. She swore allegiance to Israel. She's married to a Jew. I think Imhoff. She didn't hyphen her name, but she's married. See, that's the thing. Y'all so full of crap. Oh, she's a black woman. What if it was a black man that had a white wife? Would y'all be so supportive and vocal? While you sororities and fraternities be out there stomping and whatever y'all like to do for a black man who had a white wife? Whether that was Frederick Douglass running with his second wife who was white. You know, Frederick Douglass ran for vice presidency, or he was put on a ticket with a white woman named Victoria Woodhull for the Equal Rights Party back in the campaign season of 1872. Will y'all accept Frederick Douglass if he had a white woman and running for president? No, but y'all, I can't see it even on social media. I went to school with black women. They good, and they got white husbands, and they got mixed kids. And I remember when 2020 happened, they all on my timeline talking about, I don't know what to tell my son. This is after George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, all this stuff that was happening to black people. And y'all want, I like Trump invented this, but didn't Jordan Davis and Trayvon and Mike Brown and Sandra Bland get killed on Obama's watch? Stop it with the Project 2025 BS. Police been had immunity. They been had it. And I'm going to talk about that too, but bring it because the anniversary is coming up. But different thing. I'm going to touch on that. I want y'all to do the research on it. But with that said, Kamala said she ain't doing nothing for black people, for black Americans. She ain't giving y'all no reparations. I wish y'all had the same type of energy for reparations that I do for Project 2025. Y'all like this stuff like, oh man, police immunity, get rid of the Department of Education. You mean the Department of Miseducation? You know how many people out here graduating, walking around with high school diplomas that can't read and write, that can't add? Don't you know I hate giving money that folds and jingles to people at restaurants and at grocery stores because I know they don't know how to count? Not because they stupid, because they was not taught how to count properly. So people can't even do simple arithmetic or can't even read and write. They got high school diplomas. And y'all talking about, man, he gonna get rid of the Department of Education. They not educating. They the Department of Indoctrination. They're making a nation of C and D students. They not teaching critical thinking. They're not teaching civics, function of government. They're not teaching you nothing. They are talking about, well, I didn't learn this in school. You don't learn nothing in school. What you talking about? I didn't learn about me in school. You don't supposed to learn about you in school. They're supposed to teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're supposed to get you indoctrinated. It's not about real education. It's liberation. It's liberate. It's not limiting. It's like scholars and academics. Oh, Donald Trump is the worst president. Y'all so fucking weird. I mean, excuse me. Ooh, walk that back. Y'all are weird because in academia, they want you to focus on one thing and become an expert at that. If you live in life, you learn about all types of different stuff. You learn that everything is connected. You know, it's a thing called being an autodidact. You know, autodidact or autodidactic. Our greatest people in our country, in the world history, were autodidact or autodidact. All right. That means self-taught. You're a self-taught person. Malcolm X was an autodidact, right? Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, Leonardo da Vinci, Henry Ford. I would say even George Washington Carver. I mean, the way he communicated with animals and plants. It's certain things in us that we got to discover for self. knowledge of self is the foundation for success in a world like this. Knowing your people and where you come from, schools ain't qualified to teach that. So when people say, why didn't we learn this in school? They don't want you to know. It's like, y'all focus on Project 2025. We need a Bacon's Rebellion of 2025. We need a Bacon's Rebellion. You want to know why stuff is so messed up? Study the Bacon's Rebellion. It's divide and conquer. White power is divide and conquer. Black power is unity and solidarity. That's why it's amazing when black folks get together on some stuff. It don't have to be a lot of us, but when we move, people make jokes about black people like being at the fair or at some large event, and we see a few black people running. About 3 black, then all of a sudden we start running. Say, well, why are we running? Like, you know why? Because you see your other brothers and sisters running, you start running. Because we are connected. We are soul people. We spiritual. We connect. So when we do that, we shift paradigms. We create paradigm shifts. And what they don't tell you is when black folks get together on stuff, we don't need no allies. We don't need no friends because we never had any friends. We never had any allies. Unless we could be a friend to ourselves, like Dr. John Henry Clark would say, if you looking into the mirror and that person staring back at you ain't your friend, you're not acquainted with that person, then we have no friends. So, but people understand, like when y'all talking about Abraham Lincoln, y'all mad at him for the wrong reasons. Abraham Lincoln had some good intentions, but he was a white man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all say he don't like black people. It don't matter. It don't make a difference. He thought slavery was wrong. And he could hate black people and still think slavery is wrong and help end slavery. But what people don't understand, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free no black person. It took black men taking up arms to free themselves. When John Brown went to Harper's Ferry, he couldn't free black people. He was going to Harper's Ferry to get the arsenal, the weaponry to arm black people. If they wanted to be armed, you have the choice to be armed, but you got to fight for yourself. He sacrificed himself, his sons and stuff sacrificed themselves. But he knew that he couldn't free. He's not qualified to free nobody if you can't free yourself. You got to free yourself. So it was black men that free, but then people understand by black men fighting in the Civil War, it not only won freedom for themselves, they preserved the Union. Because when Abraham Lincoln, when he said the Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863, the North were getting their ass whooped. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. They were beating the hell out the North. They were about to lose. They were losing. And then it was Democrats like George McClellan. He was over the Union Army before Grant, U.S. Grant. He was a Democrat. They were doing obstruction stuff. They were trying to undermine the North battle with the South, right? So I believe it was Democrat. I think Abraham Lincoln's Vice President Andrew Johnson was a Democrat from Tennessee. He was the one that told him to roll back that 40 acres and a mule. And we are old reparations. I don't care what nobody say. You so-called, experts. I want my money. I don't want no voucher for no school, and give me my money. Run me back my money, man, with interest. But yeah. It's a lot to talk about. But let me focus back in. So we don't expect anything from these people like Kamala Harris, Chuck and Pearls, y'all happy, aka Howard University, and y'all don't even realize most HBCUs are founded by white people. Howard is named for a white man. Spelman is named for a white woman. Booker T. Washington was appointed to Tuskegee. He didn't found Tuskegee. Mary Clyde Bethune actually created Bethune-Cookman College. She did it with no money hardly, and she took on the Klan. And that's a story that needs to be told. And she was brilliant. And also I want to touch on this. I started thinking about it because people say, oh, J.D. Vance, he going to get rid of abortion. I mean, why are we so obsessed with killing babies or fetuses? I mean, I understand people get tight in the jam. Brenda's got a baby. Oh, think about why I hear black people, which is like, God be talking to me. God talk to you too. The ancestors be talking. People be talking like, man, we need a Malcolm X. I be seeing y'all in the comments, man, we need a Malcolm X. We need a Fred Hampton. We need Ida B. Wells. I'm not saying, well, we kill our leadership. We kill our people. The ancestors be trying to come back, but we abort them. Y'all aborted Malcolm X. Y'all aborted Dr. King. Y'all aborted Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, Sojourner Truth, anybody, Madam C.J. Walker. They were trying to come back. We keep on killing them. We killed about, I think they say about 70 million black babies been aborted. Think about if we didn't abort all our babies like that, what would black people be right now? We kill our warriors, we kill our fighters, our soldiers. And we got the nerve to talk about we catching hell. We deserve to catch hell. It's like Dick Gregory said. Yeah, I can take that out of context, but Dick Gregory said it best. He said, basically, you know, I can't get mad when they drop bombs in America because my tax dollars are going to pay for bombs to drop over there. So it's only a matter of time that it comes back over here. It's like what Malcolm said about the chickens coming home to roost. You do all this dirty stuff around the world, you think you ain't going to be touched? You think we ain't going to get touched right now? We are in World War III. I'm going to say this right now. We are in World War III. But y'all waiting for ABC, CNN, Rachel Maddow, MSNBC, Roland Martin to tell y'all in Civil War. Or I mean, we in World War III. And I tell people, I would not want to be around Paris during the Olympics. I'll get my assets out of there. Because you know what they did back in 96 at the Olympics in Atlanta. In the Olympic Park, that black woman got killed by a bomb. And then Eric Rudolph, that's the guy's name, was it Eric Rudolph? And they blamed the security guard who was a hero. And they blamed security guard, right? And they made a movie about it. Clint Eastwood, I think, did. Let me look up this name because y'all be like, man, Brother Ron told us the wrong name. It was Eric Harris, not Eric Rudolph. I know how y'all be, but y'all have no love for brothers. Like, oh, it's tough out here. It is rough out here for a brother. Yeah, Eric Rudolph. But they tried to blame on the security guy, and Clint Eastwood did a movie, and the guy passed on the guy they blamed, the scapegoat. But this is what they do. Think about Munich, the Olympics in Munich back in 72. What happened to the Israelis, the athletes, and all that. And then I wouldn't want to go to Chicago. I love Chicago. Chicago's amazing. Chicago's a beautiful city. I love Chicago. I wouldn't want to be there in August for the Democratic National Convention. I want to be in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention because that's where they're going to announce the Civil War. That's what the Civil War going to. They're going to, hey, people mad in Chicago, man. Black folks mad in Chicago. You ain't going to be trying to give us no Kamala Harris. We want, I'd rather have Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson is a Black American. Kamala is not Black, and she's not American enough. She's not Black American enough. Even her daddy don't want to claim Black. And it's white Jamaicans, it's Chinese Jamaicans, it's Indian Jamaican. I'd rather call Kamala Indian Jamaican than Black American. She's not one of us. She's not like us. I'm not going to put up with you fools. I would rather have Kwame Kilpatrick be the president. He's Black American. Black Native American. Whatever you want to call it, we put all these labels. See, this is like, they give us symbolism. They give us pretty pictures and stuff, and we're starving. We're dehydrated. We're malnourished. And you folks are dying over symbols. You need substance. We need substance, and y'all ready to settle for symbols. Ain't y'all tired of that? Got the nerve to talk about Agent Orange like Donald Trump's the problem. I said, all of them racist, man. This they system. And y'all don't even, it's grown people making way more money than me don't even know what racism is. Y'all be talking about Black people racist. No, I know some elders that don't like don't like Black people, don't like white people. Don't make them racist. Racism is about power. Being a racist is about having power, having leverage, having access. There's a lot of racists that love Black people. You said, no, it's not. I said, well, yeah. You know, where you staying at? Who you renting from? You know, all this stuff. There's a lot of racists that love Black people. There's a lot of Black people that hate Black people. And there's a lot of racists that love Black people. But Black people cannot be racist. We cannot deny white people housing. We cannot use entities to discriminate against white people like they do us. And they benefit. So racism is not about hate. It's about power. And once you realize this, see, we've been miseducated thinking about racism. Because like, some of y'all are some despicable characters. I'm talking about some Black folks. And they got the nerve. And when a white person, so-called white person, don't like you, it's all about racism. No, because you're an asshole. It's not always about the color of your skin, because it's the color of your personality. All right. So we need to get to that point, but don't act like it doesn't exist. And like even how they use, like people talking about, well, Governor DeSantis. I don't really care for the Governor DeSantis like that. I told people Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee. They said, oh, it's going to be DeSantis, it's going to be Swami, not it's going to be Trump. And Trump is the Republican nominee. But what I'm saying about DeSantis with the critical race theory, They're not teaching about us. Don't you know, especially in Florida, because if they really told the truth about how they treated black people in Florida alone. But now they use our pain as a Trojan horse for other people's gains. Like, really, that critical race theory y'all talking about ain't about black people. It's about sexual orientation. It's about Rainbow Coalition, not the Jesse Jackson, Fred Hampton type, the other Rainbow Coalition. We got to reclaim that rainbow. That's another story. But y'all get mad over there. They don't. I didn't learn about Emmett Till from school. I learned about Emmett Till by reading my grandma's Black History encyclopedia from the 1970s as a child while I was in elementary. School never taught me about no Emmett Till, no Medgar Evers. I learned that at home from my grandmama's encyclopedias. I self-taught. So, and Emmett Till's birthday coming up July 25th. I went to his grave in his home childhood. It was amazing. It was very spiritual. I'm not gonna talk about that right now, but I just want you to know I'm aware how things connect, you know. And so you look at what we're going through. We don't ask for nothing. We don't expect nothing. It's like with James Clyburn, election night, or whenever that was, the day after the miselection or unelection or in-election, it wasn't a real election. Dick Gregory, like he said, Donald Trump will be the last president. Donald Trump is the last president that was picked and selected by the people. Dick Gregory is correct. He was just 8 years too early. And James Clyburn was asked by the media, well, Mr. Clyburn, Representative Clyburn, you was pivotal in helping Biden get the White House. You helped him in the South Carolina primaries. If it wasn't for you in the black vote, he may not be president right now. So what do you want from Joe Biden? There go Clyburn, this step and fetch it Negro. I don't want nothing from Joe. I got everything I need. I got everything my family's taken care of, and I just don't want nothing. He ain't get nothing either. He ain't get a dang thing, right? But then what about the black folks in South Carolina that's suffering? What about they losing their lands? Gullah Geechee people, all them they land getting taken away from them, gentrified. Black people catching hell all over the place. And you say he can't do nothing? You get all that work for Master Joe. I'll help Master Joe, Uncle Stephen. You're not an Uncle Tom. If you was an Uncle Tom, he would be a race man. He would have said, oh, well, Joe, I ain't want to step on your toes, but you owe us something, Joe. You owe us something. You owe us something. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't have no black leaders. None. All these self-promoting, selfie-obsessed, trending hashtag keyboard warriors ain't doing nothing for black people and got the nerve to tell me I'm not my ancestors. You right, you not them. You are not like them. You are not like them. You are not like them. You damn right. I agree. Oh my God, I'm being censored. But I'm just saying, like, no, this is not what we need to be doing. I gotta go back to 64 because what's going on with the Democrats, they're imploding. They're not going to win the White House unless they cheat. I'm going to say it like this because there ain't no way the party with this type of partisan politics going on is going to win the White House. They're not unified. This reminds me back in 68. I wasn't there. I'm not a time traveler. But when Lyndon B. Johnson said he would not seek a re-election, a second term, a second full term, and then Bobby Kennedy was catching fire and he got killed in Los Angeles back in June of 68. And then you had all this stuff going on in Chicago at the Democratic Convention, all the protests getting beat up, Gangster Daily. Because I believe if Mayor Daley could be mayor, how come Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover couldn't be mayor? Chicago's a gangster town. Anton Cermak could be mayor. How come Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford couldn't be mayor? Gangster town. So all that was happening. Hubert Humphrey got the nomination right, but he lost to Nixon. But then also you think about 1980 when Jimmy Carter was the incumbent, and then he had a challenger in Ted Kennedy. Another Kennedy tried to spoil the party. Come along, Ted Kennedy. And that broke up the Democratic Party, where Reagan was able to get in, not only because of that, but also because of the October surprise, making a deal with the Iranians for the hostages behind old Jimmy's back. Jimmy Carter, y'all know that him and, what's his name? Berry Gordy are cousins. They blood cousins. Look it up. Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, is blood cousins with Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, I believe, niece or grandniece or whatever, was married to Van Jones, the Crime Negro Network anchor, Van Jones. He used to be married to Jimmy Carter's Ken. So he got, I believe, 2 sons by his wife. I think they're divorced. But all this stuff is connected. It ain't coincidence. Coincidence is fiction. When people say it's a coincidence, it's not. No, it's real. It's real out here. Everything's connected. But Kamala, if black people, and this is a good thing, you know, I don't really care about how she got into what she got, her position of power, because that's always been like that. Think about Cleopatra, right? Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, whatever. She slept with Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, right? First she got with Julius, then she got with Mark. It's a Diddy party. It's a freak off. You know, Cleopatra was having freak offs, but to engage in those type of things, it's part of the pact. It's part of the ritual of power. You know, it's like a contract. When a lot of people look at getting involved sexually with another person, it's a bond. It's a contract that you're doing. It's like I remember reading something about Janis Joplin, who's part of the 27 Club. You know, the young artists who all died at 27. Her, Jimi Hendrix, and Jim Morrison died within like months of each other, basically. Months of each other. And somebody was saying that Janis Joplin, I don't know, it was Clyde Davis. You know who Clyde Davis is. He's Clyde Davis. He's the real freak off man. But I don't know, it was Clyde Davis or somebody was saying how, you know, Janis signed a new contract and she wanted to sign a contract with you that she will offer to sleep with you to bind and bond that contract. It's binding when we sleep together. That's how she thought, allegedly. And now she's dead at 27. Amy Winehouse, all these people going at 27. People make these deals. That stuff is real. Like when people say, I thank God, which deity? Which deity does he thank? Because like even you look at the space program, NASA, they never want to talk about Jack Parsons, the founder of NASA. He was a rocket science pioneer. He was an autodidact. He taught himself rocket fuel science and all that. Didn't go to no college, but he's the founder, one of the founding fathers of NASA. NASA don't want you to know that because he practiced the occult. He was a follower of Aleister Crowley. He was actually Aleister Crowley's representative for his religion out on the West Coast. He used to do sex magic. He practiced sex magic. I can look up what sex magic is, but basically sex magic is using sex to manifest things, to manifest stuff. He wanted to open portals and stuff like that. And he wanted to bring to earth a deity as a moon child or somebody like Antichrist, Rosemary baby, something like that, right? So the government said he's too weird for us. They utilized him. He was friends with L. Ron Hubbard, the father of Scientology. They had a falling out over some women, over Kit Kat. And he allegedly blew himself up in his garage, his laboratory, while mixing chemicals. Back in, I want to say June 17th, 1952. He was even 40 years old yet. But that's the guy who created NASA. A guy who was, I guess, a devil worshiper and a follower of Crowley. Aleister Crowley, who people say is actually the father of Barbara Bush. Her mom went to England, I believe, at one point, and I think she encountered Aleister Crowley. That's what people say on the internet. I don't know what's true or not. Because people say, well, she ain't a woman, she a man, all this. I don't know what's true. But they were saying that Barbara Bush was the love child of Aleister Crowley. And thinking about the Bush family, I can see that being possible. Just like I believe that Obama's daddy is not a Kenyan. He's a black dude from Chicago named Frank Marshall Davis, who he talked about in his book, Dreams from My Father. That was his mentor in Hawaii, the Harlem Renaissance figure, poet, community activist, community organizer. I think it was a photographer, but I think it was Frank Marshall Davis, right? Let me look it up because I don't want to get on here and y'all tomorrow. He lied again. Frank Marshall Davis, what's his name? Let's see. Yep, Frank Marshall Davis. He was born December 31st, 1905, Arkansas City, Kansas. Died July 26, 1987, in Honolulu, Hawaii. Look at images of Frank Marshall Davis and Barack Obama and his mom. Put them all together. They created Barack Obama. Barack Obama really is a CIA asset. They said that his grandmother, his mother's mother, was a bank executive, but she was a banker for the CIA. And his father, his grandfather, his mother's father, I believe, was military intelligence. But the king is not his daddy. You are not the father. I believe it's Frank Marshall Davis. And just look him up and do the photo comparisons. But that's another story. But like even with Obama, when he was running back in 2008, and I remember it was a lot of excitement, but Hillary supposed to have been the nominee. Hillary thinks she was born to rule. She was born as president. She's like Terminator. She jumped out the sky, fall out the sky butt naked. Is it laundry day? What day is it? It's laundry day. It's laundry day. So she think every day is laundry day for her. But anyway, because she always money laundering, allegedly. I don't know. But the thing about it is, they were saying when Barack Obama was running, he's not black enough to be president. I know what? Who has been black enough to be president? That's weird. Like they would say, he's not black enough to be president. Even Al Sharpton, he's not black enough to be president. Hillary is our president. I remember Stephanie Tubbs, the congresswoman from Ohio. She was going hard in the paint for Hillary. Then she had an aneurysm or something. It kind of reminded me when I heard the news of Sheila Jackson Lee passing away from pancreatic cancer. It's like she was a blood sacrifice for the Democratic Party. Like Stephanie Tubbs seemed to be a blood sacrifice for Hillary Clinton's campaign in 2008. And I actually met Sheila Jackson Lee last year at the National Civil Rights Museum. And like I said, I don't have no animosity towards the person. She was actually a very nice person. She was very accommodating. She was cool. But her policies or lack of policy initiative, that what bothered me about her legacy, is that she didn't do anything for black people. They always talk about reparations. That's it. They didn't give reparations. And she was in a position, and you think about what's sad, that we don't know what we're missing. Like, she was a replacement, so to speak, for a guy who held that position, like maybe a little bit earlier than her. I think it was a guy that came before her, and she got the seat for him. But before them was a cat named Mickey Leland. Look up Mickey Leland. Mickey Leland, L-E-L-A-N-D, from Houston, Texas. And this guy was he was a visionary. He was a humanitarian. He led the Black Caucus in Congress at one point. He was what they call an eccentric. He used to wear dashikis and stuff in Congress. He was like, how y'all talk about Justin Pearson, the Afro dude with dashikis from Memphis up in the State House in Tennessee? He was kind of like him with the dashikis and stuff. But he wanted to end world hunger. He actually committed his career, his political career, to ending world hunger. And he did work in Africa. And what was interesting with him, he died in a plane crash. His plane crashed into the side of a mountain. Everybody on the plane died. But this is what's interesting. It took him like a couple of days to get to his body. It took him a while to get there. I mean, he died, and I'm thinking they were making sure that he was dead. He probably could have survived had they got there early. But our people took all day getting to him. They took a couple of days. I don't know how, off the top of my head, how many days it took. Let me look. I'm just trying to, I just want to be right. I just want to be right when y'all think I'm wrong. I just want to be right and y'all think I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah, he died August 7, 1989. I'm just trying to see how long did it take him to retrieve his body, because he probably was alive. They'd make sure he was dead. Okay. Yeah, 16 people died altogether on the crash, including the acclaimed writer Roberta Warwick, who wrote under the pen name Maria Thomas. He said Leland's friend and former Texas legislator Craig Washington was elected to his unexpired congressional term in '89. And I believe that, I don't know, the Sheila Jackson Lee defeated him for the spot. Let me see. I don't know. I'm just looking at this real time. I know, hey, Ron, why are you doing all this? Yeah, Sheila Jackson Lee got the seat after him. That's the seat that Mickey Leland had. And we don't even talk about Mickey Leland. See, we don't remember the people that try to do stuff for us as a people. We love folks that disrespect us. That's why we love Joe Biden when he said, if you don't vote for me, don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. he understands black folks because look at who his mentors were: Strom Thurmond, Robert Byrd, George Wallace, Faubus, governor of Arkansas during the Little Rock Nine situation, John Stennis, James Eastland, very powerful U.S. senators from Mississippi that Malcolm X talked about. Malcolm X was name dropping these people, and yet they killed Malcolm X. The government did, and y'all say y'all Malcolmites and y'all go hard for Malcolm, but yet Malcolm told y'all not to vote Democrat. And if Malcolm was alive today, he'll tell y'all he'll double, triple, quadruple down. Do not vote for these clowns. And y'all would hate Malcolm X. Y'all call him a sellout. He's a coon, Uncle Tom. Like I said, Uncle Tom is a race man. So to be called Uncle Tom by anybody is a sign of respect. Because you know who the real Uncle Tom was? You wear that with a badge of honor. They even did an episode about that on the Jeffersons, I believe. Well, anyway, it's called the idiot box for a reason. But anyway, what I'm saying is that we don't have real black leadership right now. 60 years ago, you had black people in charge of different organizations. They were controlled by some money interests, of course, but 60 years ago, you had black leaders. You had, you look at SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. You had people like Julian Bond and Kwame Ture, H. Rap Brown, John Lewis. Marion Barry was the first chairman of SNCC, and look what he was able to do with his political career in order to empower black people in particular, but people in general. You think about, you had CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, James Farmer, and even Floyd McKissick was a part of it. Floyd McKissick, I believe, was the first black person to go to and graduate from the University of North Carolina Law School. He came up with the idea for Soul City in North Carolina. He got $20 million from Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon's a devil. I said they all devils then. They all devils there. You think about it. But you playing their game. It's like, I don't understand y'all. Y'all talking about we can't go for Trump this and that. We go for Joe. And Joe doing hell. He gave y'all hell for all 50 years of his political career. And my thing is, if we learn about politics made for strange bedfellows. The reason why I say that, I say y'all love Malcolm X and Nation of Islam, whatever, but Nation of Islam brought real estate from the Klan down in Georgia. That's the home state of Elijah Muhammad. He was born in Georgia, October 7th of, I want to say what is 1897. I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all look that up. I know it's October 7th, but they got real estate from the Klan. Marcus Garvey got financial donations from the Ku Klux Klan back in the 20s. The Klan had over 4 million members. And they said, well, you want to go back to Africa? We want to help finance you going back to Africa, boy. Here you go, darky. So they used to give them money, whatever, financial support. Marcus Garvey United Negro Improvement Association. Malcolm X and them dealt with George Lincoln Rockwell, the founder of the American Nazi Party. He used to come and speak at Nation of Islam events like Savior's Day or something like that. Something, Founders Day, Savior's Day. Y'all tell me in the comments. But I'm saying, like, you got to deal with these devils because it's their playground. You got to deal with them. So for you to say, I can't deal with this person, I can't deal with Agent Orange, the orange bastard, it's really counterproductive because what you're saying is, I don't love myself enough to get some power and leverage for myself and for my people. Because Malcolm said, by any means necessary. That means you got to deal with the duck, the Donald. You deal with Biden, but get something out of the deal. It's like Joe Biden, how black people support the Democratic Party, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, like how they supported Woodrow Wilson back in 1912. In 1912, black folks went for Woodrow Wilson. That was the deciding factor in a lot of ways of him winning, because what also happened that year, Teddy Roosevelt split the Republican vote with William Howard Taft, who was the incumbent president. And like I said before, history is a weapon, it's a tool. No party has won, I believe, in this country when they are not united. The Republican Party was torn apart back in 1912 because Teddy Roosevelt wanted the nomination. He won the second term. He finished out William McKinley's term. And William McKinley was assassinated back in 1901 in Buffalo and New York. And Roosevelt was his vice president. So Roosevelt, at the age of 42, he's the youngest president ever, but not elected president. That'd be Kennedy, I believe. But he was at 42, became president of the United States. So he fulfilled William McKinley's term, and also he ran for his own term. But then he thought about, I want to get a third term. So he was trying to run, I mean, I guess it would be a second term, but it'd be his third term, right? And so he split the vote. You know, matter of fact, Teddy Roosevelt was almost assassinated in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back on what day was that? I want to say May 22nd. Was it May 22nd, 1912? Let me look it up. It was Teddy shot, but he was my favorite president, and Trump was challenging that energy of Teddy Roosevelt in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let me see. I'm gonna make sure I get this right, because I got this, phone, smart. No, it was like, hey, it was October 14th, 1912. Former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt survived an assassination attempt by John Schrank, a former saloon keeper, while campaigning for the presidency in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And the reason why Schrank shot him allegedly was because he didn't want, he don't believe a president should have so many terms. It should be term limits. We got term limits on the presidency now. That's why they can't really run Barack Obama up front. But he lived long enough to see Teddy Roosevelt's cousin, FDR, get a third term as president. So, yeah, he got a third. He lived long enough to see Roosevelt, ironically, get a third term. He died back in 1943. It's John Schrank character. But they split the vote, and that's why Woodrow Wilson was able to get in. But, he needed black votes to help put him on top. And people like Ida B. Wells Barnett, people I love, William Monroe Trotter, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, a lot of black leadership was telling black people to vote for Woodrow Wilson because he's like the second coming of Lincoln. And what he did was he was the Antichrist. If Lincoln was the savior, then he was the Antichrist. Because what he did was, soon he got in the office, he resegregated the federal government. He resegregated Washington, D.C. A lot of black workers in the federal government lost their jobs. He resegregated the U.S. Navy. He endorsed the film Birth of a Nation, which was based on a book by his college classmate, Thomas Dixon, known as the Klansman. He did a lot of things to hurt black people. Also, he helped the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Federal Reserve was created on his watch. So, and people think Woodrow Wilson was not better presidents. Then at the end of his term, it was his wife running the White House. He had a stroke or something like that, and his wife was running. So he was like Joe Biden is an updated version of Woodrow Wilson. That's how I look at it. He's an updated version of Woodrow Wilson. I think his wife is really running him. He's not running the country. His wife is running him, though. Dr. Jill Biden. But anyway, I say all this to say that we had real leadership 60 years ago. We had black leaders. We had black men leaders, hetero males. Now they want to push the Bayard Rustin narrative like he was this. Bayard Rustin didn't have no charisma or the oratorical abilities of a Malcolm X or a Dr. King or a Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr. He wasn't gifted like that. He was gifted in terms of strategy, logistics, stuff like that, organizing. But he was nobody that was the face of a movement type. And now they want to reinvent it through the Obamas, a Trojan horse to make Bayard Rustin bigger than King, bigger than Malcolm, bigger than the movement. And like I said, that when black folks get together on unity and solidarity, it shifts paradigms. The civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s was the blueprint for everybody to get something except for black people. If you look at the DEI thing, they want to make black people the face of affirmative action and DEI, diversity, equality, inclusion. But really, the biggest beneficiary of affirmative action and DEI are white women, white American women. They got you thinking that white women are minorities. They're not minorities, but they classify with minorities. That's the games they play. And you think, I guess you're going to blame Donald Trump for that. But black folks got affirmative jail time, affirmative discrimination, affirmative redlining, but Trump didn't invent that. His people took advantage of that. The Trump organization, they took advantage of what the government allowed. Donald Trump told us in 2016 the game is rigged. He never said he didn't benefit from the game being rigged. This dude ran a casino into the ground and still made money. So I gotta listen and stop, like, why you see him with such vitriol and hate? Y'all loved him just 10 years ago. Rappers love him. Black people love Trump. Everybody loved Trump. And I like the fact that David Hilliard, who was a co-founding member of the Black Panther Party, he basically said some kind of things about Trump recently that his family is trying, like he see now. They try to give him the Joe Biden treatment. He don't know what he's talking about. He's mumble rapping. But he clarified and he stood on it that, hey, Donald Trump helped the Black Panthers get some housing in Harlem. He gave us a deal. And he said, he good for it. I mean, Don King, Mike Tyson, and these are celebrities, but Donald Trump has done things for his people, man. He looked out for people. My thing is, my people are getting the short end of the stick, not because of Donald Trump, not because of Joe Biden, not because of Kamala Harris. It's because we don't have no real leadership. We haven't had real Black leadership, I'll get since the 70s. I mean, thorough Black leadership. The 80s had promise. You had, Farrakhan do what he did. I mean, Farrakhan, for example, when they tried to control the beauty supply distribution, like Farrakhan will get the Black business people, like, we got to control our distribution for our product. He'll try to get all of them lined up. Then the Black folks start falling out one by one, saying, man, I got to back out of this, man, because of the banks and all this stuff. See, the thing about Black people wonder why y'all always tearing each other down? Why y'all can't build people? Why y'all always talking bad? Because all we got is our mouths. We don't got no power. We have power. Don't get me wrong. We have power, but we don't know how to utilize that power. We lack a vision. The head has been disconnected from the body for so long. Like I said, to have real leadership, we had that back in the 60s. We had that. Whatever you think about this, we had some dynamic visionaries, and the government snuffed them out. This was not one person you could pinpoint this on, because like you're gonna talk about Nixon and COINTELPRO in the Vietnam War. He didn't start the Vietnam War, he ended the war. Democrats started the Vietnam War. Kennedy was trying to withdraw troops. They killed Kennedy, and they started doubling down on troops, tripling down. The Gulf of Tonkin incident escalated our involvement. You were talking about something that stage. Look up the Gulf of Tonkin incident of 64, which got us involved knee deep and whatever in the Vietnam War. When Kennedy was trying to pull us out the war, we got double, triple, quadruple down into the war. And it was a stage thing. You want to talk about something that was fake. So that's called a false flag. False flags are stage events that have real consequences. Okay, so you think about stuff. And we don't have leadership, man. We don't have the people that's gonna, because sometimes when you gotta work with Black people, you gotta look like the villain. Like if you love Black people, you want to serve Black people, sometimes your people gotta view you as a villain. They gotta view you as a villain. And that is important to take in. It's like a Batman. You're a hero, but you live long enough, you'll become the villain. And a lot of us don't want to be the bad cop, good cop, then whatever. But speaking of the good cop, bad cop, people talk about the Project 2025, how it's going to get police immunity. Police been had immunity. Police had immunity since they started as slave catchers. But every major race riot and massacre was started by some form of police misconduct. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. It's like there's a fact that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of these special diversity, equity, equality, inclusion programs and affirmative action. White women benefit from that. And white women encourage their white men to lynch Black people. Reason why lynchings came into play because white women was telling white men, defend our honor, lynch these niggas. Okay? Just like the Confederate memorial monuments, the Daughters of the Confederacy, they were the major fundraisers for these statues that y'all hated recently, that y'all didn't care about all this time, but then all of a sudden it bothers y'all because the media said, oh man, they killed all them Black people at their church. The best thing we could do is take down some monuments that have been there for 100 years, 50, 70 years, whatever. Okay. We should have been asked for reparations. So you look at the history of Mother Emanuel on his own, that deserves reparations. Like state-sponsored white terrorism, destroying churches, killing black little girls in churches. All this stuff is crazy. It's insane. So what I'm trying to say is it's very important that y'all be students of history, good stewards of our ancestors' legacy, ancestors, righteous ancestors, right? And peel back the layers and stuff. So police always had immunity. Whether, y'all keep on talking about police immunity because we don't fight back. And then the people that fight back, we scared of. We scared to mention Michael Johnson and with Lovell Mixon. What is Lovell Mixon? Let me see. So Lovell, he took on a SWAT team in Oakland. He lost his life, but he took some with him. I'm not advocating that, but I'm saying we don't talk about the Lovell Mixon. We don't talk about Larry Davis. Yeah, we don't talk about Larry Davis, who was known as Adam Abdul Hakim. We don't talk about Robert Charles in New Orleans during the New Orleans riot of 1900, the Robert Charles riot. Read the book Carnival of Fury by William Ivy Hare. It's a great book about the Robert Charles race riots of 1900 in New Orleans that took place July 23rd through July 27, 1900. Robert Charles he took a lot with him. He took a lot of police and the other white folks with him. And they finally got him because of a snitch in the neighborhood. And they took care of that snitch in real time. The guy who snitched on his location. This is before all this social media, Instagram, X and all that. They took care of that dude. That should be a movie. Robert Charles took on New Orleans by himself. He had white folks so scared in New Orleans. They had white folks coming from Texas and Alabama, Mississippi, everywhere trying to get this dude. One black dude. One black guy. Let me see what else. Mark Essex. You talk about New Orleans, former U.S. Navy. Mark Essex. He took on New Orleans by himself. He was the Hojo, the Howard Johnson shooter, right? He's on top of the Howard Johnson, sniping people off. They had to bring in a helicopter with a machine gun to take him out. Because people thought it was more than one person doing it. And what then Mark Essex was doing, he was a Black Panther. He faced all types of discrimination in U.S. Navy. U.S. Navy is so hard on black people, man. The military in general is hard on black people, but that Navy is a beast. I'm talking the veterans and stuff that was in the Navy. But he had faced a lot of discrimination. He was from Kansas, I believe. Emporium, Kansas, I think. But he became a Black Panther. And when he took on the police down in New Orleans, it's because of what they was doing to Black Panthers in particular and black people in general. Like they were really being real hard on black people. They lost some comrades down there. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna fight back. So he took on the police, took on SWAT team, took some with him, and they had to bring in a helicopter with some guns on it to take them out. They basically made him the Swiss cheese. He was like a Swiss cheese old boy, but he took a lot with him. And there's a lot of people I could talk about, even Eddie Knoll. I always talk about this story, Eddie Knoll, because people want to wonder why they had to do Emmett Till like they did him. Well, one reason was because of Eddie Knoll, who was a World War II veteran, and he was known as a trick shot. The man was like something else with a gun. He was an expert marksman, sniper type dude. But he was a small, short, slight, red skin, a red bone, whatever, red light skin, whatever, mulatto looking dude. And the reason why he went off down to Mississippi back in 1954 was because his wife was working at a tavern or a juke joint owned by a white man. And everybody in town, the whole town laughing at me. Everybody knew that his wife was messing around with the white man who owned the juke joint. So he went there, I think one Saturday night in the new year of January of 54 to get his wife to come home. And the owner of the bar tried to punk him out and all that stuff, try to make him look bad in front of the people, were trying to bully him. So what he ended up doing was, I guess he grabbed his gun in self-defense and shot the juke joint owner. I think he shot his father. He killed a sheriff deputy. And it was like the largest manhunt in Mississippi history. You don't talk about it. You don't learn this in school. About 1,000 white folks plus looking for him in the snow, doing a snowstorm, an ice storm. So that man was hiding out in the woods and in people's barns and stuff like that. And the thing about it was, like I said, he was a soldier and he was a trick shot. He was a sharpshooting, sniper level dude. He would see the white man looking for him. Like he shot at some white man while they was looking for him. But he could have killed a whole bunch of those white guys because he saw them a lot of times going through the forest and all that stuff. But he wasn't trying to, have a race war. He was having a war for survival. So his thing was, I'm not going to just kill people just because to kill people. I'm killing folks in self-defense. So he finally turned himself in. A friend of the family, a white man, drove him, I think, to Jackson. He turned himself in. They put him in a Salem. Because, you got to be insane back in the 50s to be killing white folks in Mississippi. Self-defense or not. He had to be something wrong with that boy. Ain't right. I think it was Whitfield or Salem. I think something like that. It's outside of Jackson. And he never went to trial. He never went to trial for like killing all them white guys. He killed a sheriff deputy. He shot the sheriff deputy. He didn't shoot the sheriff. And he killed a white man who owned stuff. And this month, he killed several white men. And he never stood trial for that. He was they're about to give him a lobotomy. But somehow somebody stopped them from giving him a lobotomy. And he never stood trial. He spent time locked up, and they released him. And he went to live with his people in Indiana. And I believe he died in 1994. The reason why they never killed him or did anything, he never stood trial for killing all the white guys. This is back in this is before Emmett Till. Y'all don't even know about this. It's going to take Netflix to do a movie or some type of drama, some Amazon Prime for y'all. Man, Eddie, no, man. I've been knowing about this for a while now. But what I'm saying is, what saved him was the white part of his family. His white family members stopped them from doing anything to him because Eddie Knoll was named for a governor of Mississippi. His name was I think Edmund Knoll. He was a white governor, of course, of Mississippi, and he was kin to him. He was named after one of the governors of Mississippi. So his last name and his white family connections saved him. Saved them from the electric chair, saved them from being lynched and everything. Because what was crazy when I was reading about it, it's a book called The Time of Eddie Knoll. I don't think it's in print anymore, but if you could find it, it's called The Time of Eddie Knoll. And what saved him was the white part of his family. And I think they all died out by now. Now his people still around because they'll comment on my videos from time to time about Eddie Knoll. So that's history they ain't gonna teach you about because they don't want you to fight back. So we don't even have that type of fighting spirit. Whether you name Gavin Long, see, that's back in 2016 when black folks, Philando Castile, Eric Gardner. I think Eric Gardner was what? That 2014 Eric Gardner. Then you had Mike Brown, August of 2014. But you had Philando Castile. Then you had the brother down in Baton Rouge and Gavin Long. You had Michael Johnson in Dallas. I mean, they responded, and we got, oh man, they shouldn't have did that. But yeah, y'all talking about, well, Trump gonna give us police immunity. Cops do all type of stuff to us. They ain't gonna do nothing about it. You had folks that try to do stuff about it. We don't want to talk about them because not in polite company, and we don't want to get any idea. But yeah, y'all look at shows like P-Valley and Empire and Power and get all types of ideas about the wrong things. And I'm not trying to point out anything about them shows, but I'm saying this is what you get when you put Tyler Perry into a studio and you put Bill Cosby into prison. We don't want to have that talk right now. You take Bill Cosby and put him in prison, and you get Tyler Perry a studio in Atlanta. And Bill Cosby was about, whatever you think about his personal life and misgivings and shortcomings, he knew the power of controlling your story and telling your story and promoting black positive images. It needs to be a balance. There's room for Tyler Perry and Katori Hall and Leela Waithe. There should be room for Dr. Bill Cosby, people like Robert Townsend, people like that. It should be a balance, like what Dr. Reverend Jesse Jackson said. I was looking at this Amos and Andy documentary. Y'all should check out Amos and Andy because there was a lot of controversy about being so racist with the stereotypes. But I look at Amos and Andy, it reminded me of the Martin show from the 90s. I love Martin Lawrence's show. And Jesse Jackson made a great point. It's like, it wasn't so much that black people were against Amos and Andy. It's that it was the only black show on TV at the time. If you had a variety and diversity of shows, then there wouldn't be no problem. It's not necessarily Amos and Andy is a bad show. It was actually well done to me. I mean, for the time and all that stuff. But it was the only show. See, they do that divide and conquer battle royale mentality where they put all these black guys in the ring, blindfold them, and the last man standing wins all the little trinkets on the ground. That's how Jack Johnson came up. That's how, seeing that James Brown biopic of the battle royale. Y'all think of battle royale, y'all thinking about wrestling. WWE, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Y'all think about that. But battle royales about black folks punching their lights out until the last man standing. That's that's a real battle royale. But this is what we at right now. We are not progressive because even we had Booker T. Washington and like Judge Joe Brown. He come on my show. He talking about Booker T. Washington. He'll sell out. Uncle Tom don't know. I tell you what Uncle Tom was. But Booker T. Washington did a lot of things behind the scenes. Booker T. Washington was the pen pal for Marcus Garvey. He tried to come over here to America. He wanted to work with Booker T. Washington, either Tuskegee or NAACP. But Booker T. Washington was a pen pal of Marcus Garvey. Booker T. Washington was the first black person to eat dinner at the White House with President Teddy Roosevelt as a guest, as an equal. I want to say October the 16th, 1904, or 1905. Make sure. God, y'all be calling me out. But it's so much stuff, man. I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know if I even answer. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm talking more about the Kamala Harris thing, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, I'll do y'all a favor. Booker T. Washington, Teddy Roosevelt dinner. Okay, and also y'all can catch the replay on the second We All BTV channel on YouTube, youtube.com/We All BTV 2, the number 2. And also you go rumble.com/We All BTV, because that's where I'm really gonna put a lot more of my more controversial talking points gonna be on rumble.com/We All BTV. And I'm in the process of uploading the banned videos from YouTube, the videos that YouTube removed, things I did with Judge Joe Brown, Baba Dick Gregory, and Dr. Randy Short, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown, the Honorable Dr. Randy Short, and the Honorable Baba Dick Gregory. They have taken down those videos. I'm gonna find up a new home. I need to do my own, I guess. Okay. It was October 16th, but it was 1901. I don't know why I think about 1905, but it was October 16, 1901. Shortly after moving into the White House, President Theodore Roosevelt invited his advisor, the African-American spokesman Booker T. Washington, to dine with him and his family. The event provoked an outpouring of condemnation from white politicians and press in the American South. The reaction affected subsequent White House practice, and no other African-American was invited to dinner for almost 30 years. So, I mean, Teddy Roosevelt had his problems, he had his shortcomings, but he was bold enough to invite a black man to dine with him as an equal in the White House back in 1901. I think 1901 was the last year that there was a black person in Congress until Oscar DePriest from Chicago. I think George White was the last congressman of color, black congressman in U.S. Congress. His term ended in 1901. And so think about the courage, the political courage it took for Teddy Roosevelt, of all people, to invite a black man during this time period. And he's an advisor. Man, we'd be blessed if we could have a Booker T. Washington right now advising Biden or Trump or whoever's going to be in the White House, or Kamala. We don't have nobody like that. And, National Negro Business League, Booker T did a lot of things. I mean, he had his shortcomings, don't get me wrong. But one of the last things he did was speak out against U.S. occupation of Haiti. He did that in the New York Age, a black-owned newspaper, October 18, 1915. Then he was dead by November of 1915 under mysterious circumstances. Some of the old timers say he was poisoned by a Haitian, of all people. He was speaking out for Haiti and try to, hey, respect Haiti. And then they say he got poisoned by a Haitian. I don't know. But anyway, it's interesting. Like, well, we don't, like, Al Sharpton had 8 years of access to Barack Obama, and he didn't do anything for black people. Black people still getting killed by police. Black people still get harassed. Black people still getting discriminated against. Al Sharpton had all that access to Barack Obama. You know, he didn't do nothing for black people. It did everything for everybody else. Like I said, the Asians got their anti-hate bill. They got gay marriage. You know, I'm just saying what the Democrats have done. This is like the Asian anti-hate bill. That came on they're on Trump watch. They did that. I don't know. It's just weird. But when it comes to this serving black Americans, there's a problem. I ain't talking about black immigrants, because you see how black immigrants are winning because you got Kamala Harris, maybe. Then you had Barack Obama, but he really was a black American. His daddy, Frank Marshall Davis. I don't care what nobody says. But take a look. It's all online. Compare and contrast. You know that. But you have interesting dynamics at play. Very interesting dynamics at play. There is no black leader. I mean, people talk Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm talking about somebody who actually get access to those powers that be or think they be. Somebody like, can Dr. Umar Johnson get access to the Oval Office and speak on behalf of black people? Can he get access to Congress? Do we have a lobby group that advocates for black Americans like AIPAC advocates for Israel? Do we have that? We don't have that, don't we? And that's the thing, is you look at the history of the country respects organized entities. It acknowledges sovereign entities like United Nations. It means a lot for countries to be acknowledged, be members of the United Nations. I mean, you've been acknowledged as a sovereign entity. There is nothing out here for black people that say that we are appreciated, that we are protected and respected. We have nothing to show. I mean, like, that's why we tear each other down, because we got nothing. Every time we try to build something, it's taken from us. Every time we try to get leadership, they cut the head off from the body. Because even with the talented 10th could have worked if it wasn't for them doing busing. You know, think about it. During Jim Crow time, you know, people talking about how bad Jim Crow was. You're catching hell now. Y'all just want to be around white folks at all costs. That's the problem. That's why you think Jim Crow was so bad, because you want to be around white people at all costs. And it's costing us. It has cost us. But the thing about what I'm saying is, we had control of certain institutions in our community. We had community. You had all types of different black folks living in the same area called community. We had black banks, insurance companies. We had black baseball that made money. We had, you know, all types of black stuff, because we was forced to deal with each other. We had great black restaurants and stuff, barbershops, funeral homes. We kept the dollar, you know, recycling in our community before it went out of our community. But we was forced by the system to deal with each other. And now I'm hoping for the system to force us to deal with each other again. It's that time, folks. It's time to unite or die. Unite or die. What's that? What Patrick Henry? Give me liberty or give me death. This is where we at now. It's not vote or die. It's not ride or die. It's unite or die. You understand? This is how serious we are. I'm making jokes and stuff, but I'm serious. Because it's like y'all like to be entertained as Rome Burns. Y'all want to be entertained. At least I can die laughing. I can die laughing. Oh, God shouldn't have got shoes and bottled water. Yeah, this is where we at right now. So, like, we're not that sophisticated in our politicking either. No. Fannie Lou Hamer would have held both Biden and Trump accountable for black people. Fannie Lou Hamer was beaten into an inch of her life by black inmates on behalf of sheriff deputies in the jail in Winona, Mississippi. I want to say like a day or so before the assassination of Medgar Evers down in Jackson, Mississippi. It's back in 1963. They beat her into an inch of her life. Black men, so-called black, I call them black males. They beat this black woman nearly to death. Like, matter of fact, a lot of people believe she died in her 50s. She was young. That maybe she died from complications from that whooping she took, that she supposed not had survived. And she survived because she found out at the age of 40 something that she could register to vote, that she had the right to vote. This woman lived on a plantation for most of her life up to that point. And when the owner of the plantation found out that she went to vote or tried to register to vote, he told you better not, I'm gonna kick you off the plantation. He kicked out the plantation because Fannie Lou Hamer said, I could do this. Well, the hell with living on the plantation, I could do stuff. And she figured it out, and I love Fannie Lou Hamer because she was sterilized by the state of Mississippi without her consent. She wanted children, black people. She wanted kids, and they took that away from her. The state of Mississippi took it away from her. And the reason why I said that, because I said earlier about abortion, like we celebrate, women, we need them to have abortions. Look, y'all keep on complaining, well, where's Dr. King at? Well, you killed Dr. King. You kill him again. They can't come back and keep on aborting the babies. Fannie Lou Hamer was number 20. She was the 20th child of her parents, her sharecropping parents. They had to do that. They had to do the thing, They had to pump out like that, pump up the volume to get Fannie Lou Hamer at number 20. She was the 20th child. So that's what it takes to get people like that. It takes a lot of just, bumping and grinding and getting on with the getting on, because it's funny how them large families could live and everybody could make it. Like all them kids could become successes, have kids and have family, have careers. And, a lot of people didn't know they was poor until they had TV. A lot of people was happy being poor, playing in the dirt, eating the dirt, eating paint chips, doing what people doing, having short pants, not having shoes. People were happy. Then they got a TV set and it changed everything. Consumerism changed everything. It consumed spirituality of the people. And we're suffering with that now because we got generations of narcissists coming upon narcissists. We have created this system, create narcissists. Like, I always tell people about single mothers, and I'm not knocking single mom. I'm a product. My mom was a single mom. She was married at one point. She got divorced. But these are inventions: the single mom, the hood rat, a lot. And these are inventions of the government. These are government experiments. Because 60 years ago, you had black folks' families intact. You had black men and women married with kids. You know what I'm saying? You had black families. But then the government said you can't have this unless you have your man out the house. You can't have a man living with you. So you replace your man with the government, and this is what we get. And the government ain't worried about your family. They don't, you just collateral damage for whatever nefarious thing they got planned for us. And it's not Project 2025. That's a Trojan horse. It's like, and Trump ain't even part of his damn what do you call it, agenda. He got Agenda 47. And I don't believe Trump know how to read. I don't think Trump's a reader. I just can't imagine President Trump reading 300 pages or 30 pages of anything, let alone 900 and something pages or something. Trump don't strike me as a reader, but he's very intelligent. He don't strike me as a person to read books. He doesn't. But I enjoy him, and I don't have no problem telling people I believe he is the greatest president of my lifetime. I was born and conceived during the Jimmy Carter administration. I met Jimmy Carter and his wife, late Rosalind, may she rest in peace. He was my favorite, but Donald Trump really, when history is said and done, he's going to be on the right side of history. And my thing is, I want my people to wake up enough so we can take advantage of this Trump Express. John McCain had the Truth Express. I remember when John McCain was running, back in 2000, everybody talking about John McCain, he a truth teller. The Truth Express. Nah, Donald Trump is the Truth Express, because the thing about it is, it's not is he a liar or not. It's like how he makes you feel. He's very polarizing. He's very inspiring and very polarizing, but it gets a lot of people engaged that would normally be turned off. That's the thing. I like the engagement factor of a Donald Trump presidency. I like the fact that I feel an urge and I'm compelled to not be silent in this time in our nation's history. I feel compelled to find a way to communicate these things with the people, because they do so much to try to shut people like me down. So I owe it to the people that believe in what I'm doing and what we're doing to offer this counter narrative. I think it's very imperative, because I don't get the support like that. And I'm not antisocial now. Like I guess I'm introverted for the most part, but it's like, man, people don't understand. It's hard out here, especially with a person that speak their mind and they share things. I'm not well liked. Like that Killer Mike song that he got on his Grammy Award winning album, talking ish, whatever. He sampled 3 6 Mafia, said, Black Boule hate me, Black Boule hate me. I could be Black Boule, but I didn't pledge alpha and all that. I didn't go through the rituals. I'm not a Mason. I come from a family on my dad's side, at least. Masons back in the day, Prince Hall Masons, maybe Eastern Stars, frats and sororities, but I ain't none of that. So they don't like me around. Don't support me like that. So anyway, I guess that's it. But Kamala Harris, not like us. And you can't fool us again. You're not going to fool us a third time. And especially black men. Shout out to the black men who are running away from the plantation. What Frederick Douglass said, he said, it took him 20 years of prayer. He got no answer. Then he started praying with his legs. I'm paraphrasing. Like, he's talking about being a slave. He said he prayed to God for 20 years, something like that, to help him escape. Then he started praying with his legs. Faith without action is dead. We're going Trump, baby. It's MAGA NAGA. That's NEGUS. MAGA NAGAs. MAGA NAGAs, right? NEGU. That's Ethiopian for king. So what y'all got to start doing, it's like the rappers do, take these words and use them as a form of empowerment. Like with Tupac did with Thug Life, the hell you give little infants, elves everyone. And then he said, nigga, NIGGA, never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Stop letting these folks jam you up about the way you express yourself. Express yourself, but know the history and origins, because gay meant one thing at one point. Rainbow meant a different thing than it does now. Because Fred Hampton came up with the phrase Rainbow Coalition to work with different organizations outside of black, white, or Puerto Rican, Hispanic, whatever. Young Lords, Students for Democratic Society, the Underground Weathermen, Black Peace Stone Nation, Black Panther Party. Fred Hampton was trying to work, and they got rid of them. But what we need is a Bacon's Rebellion. Look up Bacon's Rebellion. That's what's needed, not a Project 2025. We need a Project Reset. And let me add about police immunity. I think this is interesting. Look up this story about this dude. See, I've been knowing about this guy since I was in elementary. Lieutenant Charles Becker of the NYPD back in the turn of the last century, back in the early 1900s. He was a big-time corrupt police officer. He was kind of like the white version of Denzel in Training Day. He was the white Sergeant Alonzo Harris in Training Day, but he was the NYPD finest, was a child of German immigrants, and he was a bully, a boss, a vice guy. He ran vice, in particular gambling. He had a thing for, I guess, assaulting prostitutes. That was his thing, assaulting prostitutes, whatever, arresting them. It was a famous trial that he was involved in for arresting somebody as a prostitute. Stephen Crane, the legendary author who wrote The Red Badge of Courage, I believe, he was a witness in that trial. But he was accused of killing this gambling Jewish gangster who ran gambling dens and halls in New York City named Herman Rosenthal. Allegedly he sent some hitters. They came up in a car and shot him to death outside the Metropole Hotel in Manhattan. I want to say that maybe that happened. I think it was like 1912, maybe July 15, 1912. Then that happened. But anyway, so he had two trials, right? He had Prosecutor Whitman for the state side. He had the Bishops become governor of New York, which he did. And this trial, then he had concerning Lieutenant Charles Becker, he was able to become governor of New York State. But they said Lieutenant Charles Becker ordered a hit on Herman Rosenthal. So you had people coming forward, people that were co-conspirators came forward in court. I guess they had some form of immunity. The actual shooters or trigger men, they will put to death in Sing Sing in the electric chair. And Lieutenant Charles Becker actually filed for an appeal and got a new, the original conviction of the original court case was overturned, got a second trial, and he was found guilty. Now, he had his co-conspirators selling him out because they feel like they could be next. Somebody got knocked off, another Jewish gangster got knocked off, and he was supposed to be snitching on Lieutenant Charles Becker. But what brought Charles Becker down, I'm gonna tell you how powerful we are. What brought Charles Becker down was a police informant, this young black man named James Marshall. He was the state's key witness. And the defense lawyer for Charles Becker was saying, how can you believe a Negro? Basically saying, like, why would you trust a black person? But they trust the words of criminals, of crooks that conspired with Charles Becker to off Herman Rosenthal. But they said, you can't trust a Negro. And guess what? The jury did trust that Negro. And then they upheld the guilty conviction in the second trial. They said, you know, you guilty, you go into the chair. So July 30th, 1915, Lieutenant Charles Becker of the NYPD was put to death in the electric chair in Sing Sing. Now, on July 26, 1915, he, I guess, celebrated his 45th birthday. So, yeah, look at Lieutenant Charles Becker. I knew about that story since I was in elementary. I checked out this book. I got this book from a girl in 4th grade. I think called Blood Letters and Bad Men. I think that's the name of the book. It profiled different people that were like notorious criminals, serial killers, psychopaths, sociopaths. You know what's interesting in the book? I think they had a profile for Nat Turner. They thought he was insane. But that's why I discovered the story about Lieutenant Charles Becker in that book. I think Blood Letters and Bad Men. I'm trying to look it up. If I get out here. But it was a black man. James Marshall, who disappeared into history. He brought him down. Yeah, it's called Blood Letters and Bad Man. Let's see. Yeah, Narrative Encyclopedia. Damn, let's see. Yeah, J. Robert Nash. Yep. A Narrative Encyclopedia of American Criminals from Pilgrims to the Present. So I think they had John Brown and Nat Turner in the book. It's been a while since I looked at that book, but that's how I learned about Lieutenant Charles Becker. So I can't remember any other time outside of 1915 that a cop was put to death like that by the state. And I think 1915 was the same year that the Fraternal Order of Police was formed, right? So he was a blood sacrifice for the Fraternal Order of Police, if you think about it, Charles Becker. And what's interesting about him, he was remarried, but his, I think it was his second wife, because his first wife died of tuberculosis not too long after they were married, but his second wife ended up divorcing him, and she ended up getting married to his brother. They moved out west. He had a son by his second wife. So I guess the brother raised the son with his ex-wife. I mean, I guess they did stuff like that. I said, oh, that's weird. Yeah, but it's life. But yeah, but it was a black guy. See, when they do these YouTube videos about Charles Becker, a lot of these YouTubers won't mention there was a black man that actually sealed his fate. It was a black guy testified for the state against Charles Becker. Now, he made some powerful political enemies too, because this is the era of Tammany Hall where gangsters and politicians worked hand in hand, like hand in glove, you know. Let's see, when was the Fraternal Order Police formed? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, May 14th, 1915. Okay. And also the same year, that's the same year of the lynching of Leo Frank down on outside of Atlanta, the Jewish businessman who got lynched by a white mob. I believe he got killed in 1915, I'm not mistaken. And I believe that 1915, yeah, August 17, 1915, it's like days after Charles Becker. Boy, that was an interesting year. You talking about some George Floyd and all this other stuff, Philando Castile. So you had this Jewish guy from New York that was accused of killing a worker at his pencil factory, Mary Fagan, this teenage white girl. And they were trying to put it on black people. He tried to put it on the black janitor at the pencil factory. But the white folks wasn't having that. They said, no, you did it, Jew boy. You did it. And the reason why there's interest, I'm going to tell you why there's interest, Leo Frank, because that lynching led to the creation of the Anti-Defamation League. So you had the Fraternal Order of Police created in 1915. You had the Anti-Defamation League created in 1915. And this is another thing. This is trifecta. This is interesting. So you also had the Ku Klux Klan revival in 1915 because of Birth of a Nation movie. led to the revival of the Ku Klux Klan in Stone Mountain, Georgia in 1915. Now, I talked about General Nathan Bedford Forrest earlier. Tennessee, the first version of the Klan, the Reconstruction era Klan, was formed in Pulaski, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. They had their little march with the Confederate Pooh Shiesty ski mask and the Confederate flag and the American flag. So they did it on Nathan Bedford Forrest's birthday, July 13th, and Nashville played a part in help creating the first Klan back in the 1866 or something like that. Dates kind of vary, but let me see. Because like what happened with Leo Frank, I think the governor at the time commuted his sentence to life. Because his wife, he was married to this Jewish woman from Georgia, very powerful family. I think either her grandfather or great grandfather was a rabbi at one of the first synagogues in Georgia, you know, and she come from a very prominent Jewish family. And what I thought was interesting, because I believe he did it. The reason why I believe he did it, I mean, not because the white folks didn't want to kill the black man, the black factory worker, but because his wife lived for decades. She never remarried. She lived for decades after his lynching. And when she died, you know, I think he was buried back in Brooklyn in New York or somewhere. She didn't want to be buried next to him. She decided to get buried. I don't know if she got cremated or what, but she refused. I mean, she didn't want to get buried next to her only husband. Because I believe they're the maid of their household. She claimed that she heard Leo Frank confess to his wife that he actually did kill that girl, Mary Fagan, because Leo Frank had a reputation. This is not me saying this. I'm saying Leo Frank had a reputation for soliciting sex workers. And this was like a young kid, but kids were working. You know, kids started early working those factory jobs. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got child labor laws. But, you know, she was a young girl. She was about 14, whatever, 14, 13. But he had a reputation for hitting on the women at the pencil factory and also for soliciting sex workers. So allegedly, the maid said he told his wife, he confessed to his wife that he killed the girl and that he wanted to use his wife as an alibi. So they'll try to get the maid. You know, I think somebody attacked her or whatever, but that's why I know he did it, because the way his wife didn't want to be buried next to him. She didn't want to be buried next to him for eternity. So that's interesting. But anyway, I guess that's it. I told y'all enough, but Kamala Harris, she was a top cop in California. That's another thing. How black people, like the Matrice Richardson case, look up the Matrice Richardson case and how she didn't handle that properly as the top cop in California. This is a black woman. You talking about Black Lives Matter and say her name? Matrice Richardson, Mitrice Richardson. It's a black woman who was suffering from, I guess she was bipolar or something like that. She had a psychotic break at a restaurant, and they called the police on her, and the sheriffs arrived, and they took her to the sheriff's station in Malibu. She's from, I think she was from South L.A. She was a beautiful chocolate black woman, young girl. And they took her to the Malibu sheriff's station. And I believe people found out about where she was at because they wanted to come pick her up. You know, they said, we could pick her up. And they wouldn't let her go that night. They said, we're not going to let her go that night. But basically, her folks would tell them, look, she loved, let us know when y'all about to release her. We'll come pick her up. So what they did was, you know, this woman had a psychotic break. You know, I knew she was not on her meds, whatever. They let her go in the middle of the night. They released her around midnight with nobody waiting for her to take her home. And she wandered off allegedly. That's what they said. She wandered off. We released her. She was missing for weeks. Then they found her remains in this isolated area that's hard to get to by foot. I guess it's possible to get there by foot, but I think they were flying in helicopters to get to that spot. But they found her in this place, like, you know, it wasn't that far from the sheriff's station. So it's like, to me, she met with foul play, probably, maybe, perhaps from the sheriffs. And so I believe the family tried to solicit the help of Kamala Harris in solving this crime. And basically, you know, she left in their face. I mean, in all types of ways. I mean, it was an insult. Why? Because it was a documentary that came out about it. I'm sure it's online somewhere. But basically, she laughed at the family. You know, it's like she got the hyena. She be cackling like a witch. And I mean, she needs to be laughing inappropriately. It's kind of like when they say Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, she was laughing at the death of Gaddafi. And Gaddafi probably set Africa back by 100 years, the death of Gaddafi. Because Gaddafi, what he was doing, he was trying to unite Africa through their own currency. And he'll have it backed by gold. He'll try to do this, he'll try to get his Mansa Musa on. And we all know what happened to Mansa Musa. We don't know what happened to Mansa Musa. He disappeared from history. They got rid of him. They wrote him out. We talking about. But I'm saying you're trying to get Mother Africa its power back by backing their own currency with gold. And the powers that be said, hell no, you must go. Gaddafi must go. Gaddafi must die. So what I'm saying is, I guess I'm through, but like the Matrice Richardson case really hits home. If you want to talk about, I'm not going to talk about Kamala Harris' personal life, but I just think it's funny to me that she's black. But if she was a black with her background and she was married, if she was a black, so-called black male with that type of background she has, racially ambiguous background, and married to a white woman, y'all wouldn't be. Obama couldn't win. Obama wouldn't win those 2 terms without being married to a black American woman. Foundational black American, we call it ADOS, American descendant of slaves. Yeah, he was smart. But if he was married to a white woman, a Becky or Karen, from one of these elite East Coast families, whatever, he would not have been president. So the bar is so low for Kamala Harris. And then she was like Casper the Ghost all this term. Now so she's popped up everywhere. It's like they forgot about Kamala for most of this term. All of a sudden she's all in the news cycle. If you want to be all in the news cycle, if you don't want your president to be mumbling in the videos, and you want to be all in the news cycles, then come to the White House. So now she's everywhere. This is why I say y'all believe you can't trust what they put out there. Because first Kamala she was considered like a media joke. I remember they stopped showing likes on YouTube and dislikes, I believe, because of Kamala Harris. One, because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I believe Kamala Harris was on the Breakfast Club one time. And I remember watching the Breakfast Club. I don't watch it every now and then I watch it. Very, very every now and then. And on the Breakfast Club, they had Kamala Harris interview. I think it was 2018 or something like that, or maybe 2020. She had more dislikes than likes on the video. There were way more dislikes than likes. I wish I would have screenshot it. And the fact that she didn't win one primary, I don't think, but yes, she was the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic ticket. Why not Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders should have got it in 2016. But they said Hillary is ordained to lead us into the next wave. And I'm going to tell you something. They want to hate on black men. They ran out the Democratic plantation. There's a lot of women that can't stand women bosses. Black, white, red, yellow. I talked to all types of women. I said, I don't want no woman boss. I can't stand a woman boss. So you got women that don't want women bosses. So why would they want a woman president? And if you're going to get a woman president, why make her the first woman president? I'm not feeling her like that, because I look at her track record. It's not a personal thing. I don't care about her sleeping habits and all that. I'm looking at the fact the damage she done to black people and got the nerve to say no to reparations of black people. But you give gays and Asians and legal immigrants everything. Even the Emmett Till bill they passed wasn't about black people. It's about the rainbow people. Because when black folks are found lynched and hanging, all they do is say it was suicide. When Sandra Bland was found hanging in a jail down outside of Houston, they said it was suicide. And that's why I said we don't have no real black media, because I was asking questions like, y'all say she hang from a garbage bag? What type of garbage bag did she use to hang herself? Because we should do a strength test. How much did she weigh? You said it was this brand of garbage bag. Let's do it. We don't have no type of entity that advocates like that do independent research and investigation on our behalf and have some backing. We don't have that. And that's what Malcolm X was trying to do when he tried to connect it with Africa. When he went to the, he called it, oh my God, it's so much stuff. He had his own organization based on what the Africans had. It's not the UNIA, but it was something. Well, Malcolm X's organization here, the OAU. the Organization of African American Afro-American Unity. Like they had the Organization of African Unity, the old AAU was his, but he was trying to connect black people. He was trying to get us some backup. Because you look at the history of America, when immigrants, I don't care if they're Italian or Chinese, but they get lynched, because there's a whole bunch of Italians and Chinese that got lynched in this country too. They don't want to talk about that. I mean, places like New Orleans and Los Angeles. This ain't the deep South. Well, that's New Orleans, but I'm saying Los Angeles too got a history of lynching Chinese. And they would have to pay restitution, reparations to the country of origin. The government, our government entities will have to pay some type of form of retribution or reparations or restitution. But when black folk been getting killed, we had no entity to say, you know what, United States, we are watching you. Flag on the play, you are fined. You don't got nothing like that for us. We have none. And we were so much closer to having that in the 70s and 60s than we are now. And one more thing. People talking about we need a land, right? Talking about land. It's actually a dude. Can't find it. But anyway, that's it for now. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Cash App your support, $R2C2H2. PayPal, Google Pay, and Zelle your support, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You can Venmo your support at R2C2H2, Apple Cash 901-299-4355, or join our Patreon at patreon.com/WeAllBe. Also, you could buy, you can wear We All Be art. You see all this amazing art behind me. You can wear, just go to R2C2H2's place, man. Post that up. That's right. Get your shirt. Got the Emmett Tills, got the Ida B's. Yay, yay. Got all the good stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, support this, man, because like I said, I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna be quiet, man. Too much at stake, but that's the go there. Order you a shirt, coffee mugs, whatever. Got all types of stuff. I got it for sale, man. Got it for sale. Got it for sale. Pocket Blue, Tupac, West Side. Got it for sale. Got it. Out of B. You for me, girl. Go on, girl. Got it for sale. Look, nice shirts, nice artwork, hoodies, stickers. You know what I'm talking about. Yay. Okay. I think I'm getting out of here. I don't know. I should read a disclaimer because, like, it doesn't make a difference. I have disclaimers because they still try to penalize me on stuff. But thank y'all so much for tuning out, to get in where you fit in. And before I go, let me see. Let me see something. Look at the comment section. Come on. Give y'all propers. Let's see. I be in the zone when I do this stuff, man. He said, that's why they're trying to shut me down, man. I guess so. I got more power than I do. I think I do, right? So I stand in my divine power. Because like Malcolm X said, he said that the Negro Revolution is controlled by foxy white liberals and the federal government, but the Black Revolution will be controlled by God. And God has the final say. God is still at the wheel. Tell him what you want. Thank you so much. I mean, she black on demand, or she like, it's kind of like, you know, that song James Brown, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. She's kind of like James Brown, like, you know, he said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He never say I'm black and I'm proud. He tell, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. In it, say it loud. She's telling us to say it and not get no reparations for it. So yeah, but she black when it suits her. She cosplay black. She kind of like Drake. She cosplay when it benefits, right? And I'm a Drake fan. Disclosure, I'm a Drake fan. Project 2025 scare tactic. We've been going through Project 2025 for 400 years. YouTube is shadow banning you, my brother, just like all the black media that speaks truth. the power, and you speaking truth to power. That's why I had to put this up there. Yeah, I mean, we've been catching hell. Like, but I talk to elders or elders, and they'll tell me stuff like, I can't stand that orange bastard. And I said, what's the answer then? Vote. I said, vote. You said, that's it? Yeah, vote, vote, vote. Well, the reason why we ain't getting them, because all we do is just vote. And Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was saying, like, somebody like Fannie Lou Hamer would try to get stuff out of Biden and Trump. They wouldn't just be beholden to one plantation over the other. This is not about, black men looking at Trump as the savior. I don't look at no man as my savior. I save myself. I'm my savior. But I look at, how do I leverage? I'm interested in obtaining power and leveraging it for our people. How can we do that? That's the question. It's not about you love Trump or like Trump or you hate Biden or you love or hate Kamala. And it's funny how people can't say her name right. It's Kamala, not Kamala. It would be Kamala if she was black. It'll be Kamala, but she's Kamala. Camelot. This ain't Camelot. This is Candyland. We had Camelot, Democrats, I would come with Camelot with Kennedy. It's Candyland with Biden, though. Okay. Yes, Miss Berry. Fight, 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 fight. Yes. The Trump guys. Let me see how I can. Yep. List of those who shorted Trump stock the day before the attempt. That's the list. Here's the thing, though. Well, people don't get, blessed be the peacemaker, right? Trump met with the Hungarian prime minister, I believe, the Friday before his assassination attempt he was trying to. They met with the prime minister met with him because he wanted Trump to make a deal to stop the Ukrainian and Russia war or Russia-Ukrainian war, and we didn't have wars under Donald Trump. Donald Trump would be more deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize than Barack Hussein Obama ever was, Mr. Drone Ranger. But yeah, they know what they're doing. It's always an inside job. But what people don't understand, they think it's Trump that did that. Trump didn't do that. That's the same play they ran in Dallas. They had unsecured buildings. They didn't have that slope, their rooftop secured. They had unsecured buildings in Dallas, unsecured windows. They changed the president route at the last minute. They gave Donald Trump D-list or B-list protectors, man. Jill Biden had a better security detail than the former president of the United States, who was also a very polarizing figure. So that was an inside job. It's like with Kennedy. They changed the parade route at the last minute. Secret Service was out partying and having a good time and getting drunk and messing around and stuff like that, not being professional. You already talked about the fact that it was a certain segment of the people in Secret Service that couldn't stand John Kennedy. They thought he was too kind to Negroes. I'll leave that to your imagination. So Trump, he might have people around that don't care for him, but the fact that the person who runs the Secret Service is a person that's a Bidenite that was appointed to that position by the Biden family. Okay, Dr. Jill Biden and Joe. DEI Joe, DEI Joe. DEI Joe is there. DEI Joe, DEI Joe. DEI Joe is there. Hey, sister, how you doing? Greetings, greetings indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh yeah, that's another good one. They live. Yeah, that's a good one. That's happening now. We got zombies out there. Trank. If you out in Philly, I know about that trank. Is that trank? Put people in a comatose state. Yeah. Executive action. Yeah, Burt Lancaster. It actually was dealing with the Kennedy assassination in particular. They just changed the name to protect the guilty. They changed the name to protect the guilty. But anyway, that's it. Oh, Miss Berry said, Prize is currently serving fair time for laundering Obama campaign money. Ghetto superstar, locked up. Okay, I heard of it. I ain't keep too much eyes on that. Okay, Dave. Yeah, I remember Dave. Was they Kevin Kline was in Dave or something like that? Or was it? I don't know. Maybe Is that Eddie Murphy movie or that Kevin Kline movie? Let me see something. I ain't gonna be able to get through all this family, but I thank you all. Thank you all. Yeah, Dave from 93. Yeah, it's Kevin Kline. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot of good movies out there, but it's all called predictive programming. Okay. Good point. The number of films essentially serve as warnings or ways to inform audiences. 3 Days of the Condor is one. The China Syndrome is another. And they make one called the China virus. China virus. China virus. Virus by China. Virus. They got to make that. The 2020 edition. But they're going to start the Civil War, I think, in Chicago. There's just too much happening. Volcano Green Lava Orange. It's just our Denise. What's up? Yeah, that thumbnail is something else, right? Yeah, I know it. So thank y'all so much, man. I really appreciate it. A lot of educated people. A lot of educated people. I'm gonna end the show now. Katie Harris Sexton painting. I gotta look that person up. It sounds familiar. Got Dez on. Thank you, DB. I'm glad you're back, man. Always knowledgeable and insightful. I appreciate it. It's good to be seen and heard from. You heard me? Thank you, sister. Appreciate you tuning in. Tune out to tune in to get in when you fit in. And you said, I learned from history, but don't take it personal. When we infuse past cruelties with our own personal past, it psychologically, mentally lowers our perception of self-worth. Much love, all. Good night. I guess, on that note, thank y'all. Guess for tuning out to tune in again when you fit in. I received that. Thank you, brother or sister. I don't know who it is. Thank you, Melanated Being, for supporting my humanity. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting. They in for a rude awakening. Chicago ain't going, man. Those Black Americans are mad in Chicago. That Sanctuary City thing. Democrats, man, this is like 64, 68, and 80 for the Democratic Convention. It's like you got all. Just look at the Democratic Convention of 64 and 68 and 80. That's where they at right now. The Democrats ain't gonna win. They're not united. They are very much divided. Because united we stand, divided we fall. And you look at the Republican Party now; they moving to the MAGA wing. The MAGA wing was the minority party or minority faction when Trump first came into office. Now it's the majority because the neocon faction of the Cheney and Mitt Romney and Bush, they quiet. They wasn't at the convention. They quiet like church mice right now because they're gonna probably have to wait a generation or so to get power back in. But this MAGA movement is the real deal. And it's not just about white nationalists like people want to make, because they all the presidents are problematic when it comes to race. But all right, y'all. Y'all take care. God bless. We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. I think I can read the disclaimer. Even though they like to censor me, this is ridiculous. But I'm gonna read the disclaimer. I ain't gonna let that stop me. Ain't gonna let them hold me down. Oh no, I gotta keep on moving. Don't take my pride. No. I got to keep on moving, man. But y'all take care of yourself. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all stay hydrated. Drink your water. Drink water, man. Stay hydrated. And love each other. Because, I mean, we all we got. But disclaimer, the views expressed by host and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support, and we thank you all for y'all support. We love you madly. Y'all keep on producing and pushing. MAGA love, man. MAGA love. Yes.